What's up, and welcome back to the channel. You were listening to Ninja Knight. This is Chatterbox number 16. 16 episodes of this, and I've absolutely enjoyed each and every one. And I did last week's episode and I said, there's no way things can get madder from here. Well, was I wrong? Here we have another week of yet more shenanigans going on in this country. If you're new to this channel, welcome to the channel. The channel's been doing very well over the last week, which is absolutely brilliant. And I wanted to say a big thank you to everybody that's liking, that's sharing, and subscribing to the channel. It's very much so appreciated. Tonight I'm going to give you a breakdown yet again, as we usually do on these streams, of some of the memes that we have. Memes are very important. Make sure you keep sharing those. Wakes an awful lot of people up, which is absolutely brilliant. And then also some of the articles which I'm going to commentate on, because this is what this is. This is Clown World commentary. We'll commentate on some of that. Show you some of the videos that have been going around during the week, and kind of wrap it up and give you my own summary and thoughts on where things are going. As I keep saying to people, this is a 5-round title fight. And as I keep saying, we're in round 2. The other side's gassed out. They don't know what to do. And we are in the ascendancy. Round 1, not great. Did okay. Got out of it. Survived it. And as I keep saying to people, the biggest psychological, I think, media campaign of all time was in operation for the last couple of years. And it didn't work. It didn't work for a lot of people that are out there. You've seen another campaign occur now that they want to talk to you about the likes of the weather and tell you that paying more money to the government that are already fiscally irresponsible is going to sort out the weather. And a lot of people have turned on that straight away. It's great to see. I just want to give a big shout out, obviously, to Rebel News at the beginning of this stream. If you haven't seen some of their videos here on YouTube, check them out. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And they've been reporting from the ground. And they've really exposed what's going on in a certain place in Switzerland, which is awesome to see. So a big shout out to them. Fair play to them for what they're doing. Before we jump into the stream, obviously I want to give you as a big heads up as well, because as far as I know, on the 31st of January, I'm going to be going on Dan's Mixtapes YouTube channel. So we're going to have a stream over there on his channel, and I'm delighted to have been invited after the previous stream. Sometimes it's out of blue little emails like that you're like, Janie, didn't think that was ever going to happen. Didn't think I'd be over there talking to this person or anything. And in a positive way, because there's people that I've been watching on YouTube long before I came onto YouTube, and now they're inviting me onto things, and I'm like, that's mental that these people want to hear what I have to say. This is a gonzo production over here where they just laugh at things, and you know, the support is very much so appreciated, and thank you to everyone that's doing that. And again, looking forward to that. I'll drop a video obviously closer to the time and let people know that I'm going to be over that, so that everyone's wide to what's happening there. Also, at the beginning of the stream, I just want to say thanks to everybody that's, as I said, like and share and subscribe, and you couldn't be here where I am without you, and everyone that's supporting the channel as well too. And in particular, when you're on the different likes of the social media apps and that, links are in the description down below as well. Thank you to everybody that's supporting, and very much so appreciated, because the more people that are on the likes of alternative social media, the better. And make sure you tell other people about the alternative social media, because whilst you're seeing pullbacks from certain media companies like Facebook, like Instagram, and like Twitter. Now, bear in mind, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp are owned by the same company. So the fact that they're pulling back and they're like, we'll let you back on, forget about that. You've already dirtied your bib, in my opinion. And I think it wouldn't take much for you to do it again. So that's where I stand with these things. And you know me, when it comes to people, you know, family, friends, when they've dirtied their bib with me over the last couple of years, I've noted that, and I won't forget that. And I don't think anybody out here should be forgetting that. You're seeing a lot of panic now amongst these people, because you're seeing articles finally coming out from some smaller press that are saying, guys, you know those things that we weren't letting people into restaurants, clubs, cinemas, gyms, you know those things that we said that were dependent on the QR code, looks like they don't work. It also looks like they're causing massive issues, and you know, you'd have to look at your man there across in America only recently, that guy Damar Hamlin. Have a look into that. Saudi Cracker does some great videos on that, so have a look at that one. A big shout out as well too to Philip Dwyer from what he's done this week. Do you know what? Immense work, absolutely immense work. It's great to see. The Irish Inquiry as well too, immense work going on there, and immense work as well coming from Satirical Soldier. Last video that he did, I just found myself nodding throughout the entire video, being like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I think it's becoming more and more clear now to people as to what's really happening. This is why you're seeing a massive, massive overreach from the left and some of their little personalities out there that don't have a lot of likes, even though they have tens of thousands of followers, are now calling for people on different platforms to be silenced. In my opinion, when it comes to silencing people, it seems like everyone in history that did that were the bad guys. So, it is tracking with what we already know. And I think you got to realize that what you're dealing with these people are bad guys. Now, my experience and what I like to do sometimes, I like to have a laugh and mock it. I'll show you some of it here this evening. But also, what I think is important, and I think is something that people might now start to do, is that these leftist, peanut heads, these people that are out here that don't have much going on, they thrive off of the material that our side are putting out. So just so you know that. So I think what's going to happen in the next while, because I like to kind of predict things that are going to happen. The Streisand effect has worked well so far. That means that an awful lot of people have left their side and joined our side. And the people that are already on their side are never going to swap sides then. Some of them that are like full in on it. So what our side is going to end up doing across all of these different social media apps is they're going to block them. And I think they'd be right to do that. Because what are you going to do? You need the likes of oxygen to start a fire. Why not take the oxygen away and say, yeah, good luck to you. Don't need to be talking to you at all. And that's it. Drive on forward. Now, as you know, I like to mock and I like to, I was going to say ridicule, have a laugh. And, well, you know yourself. And these are the type of things that I think our side is going to start looking at. They're going to look at it and say, hang on here, this is what I think is going to be the best thing going forward. So I think that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to see. And I also see the energy that is happening now amongst people. People are starting to wake up very much so to what is happening. I think it's awesome to see. I think it's really heartwarming. Honestly, you have to, and as I said it in the video as well, have to realize that 3 years has been all it's taken to turn this the way it's turned. And what I mean by that is you are seeing now a massive distraction occurring in the media that nobody cares about. They're seeing the likes of Pascal Donoghue and Sinn Féin talking about each other. No one cares. Absolutely no one cares, because everyone's like, we already know this. We already know what you people are like. We already know that it's a uniparty. We already know that you're mudslinging your old mates. You're going to be backpacking, going into the back of the Dáil, into the Dáil bar and drinking your weight in alcohol and whatever else. So everyone knows that already. So they're not minding that. What they are minding is what's happening with the grassroots movements. And this is why distractions like that are happening. I said it to you not too long ago. I think it was a couple of months ago, maybe even less than that, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I was like, there's Pascal saying that he's heading off there to Europe. And sure enough, then a couple of weeks later, they're like, oh, Pascal is in a bit of bother. He's going anyway. He's already stated that. So this charade, this theatre that's happening around that means nothing. It's all moot. And to me, I think more people are looking at that and they're going, yeah, what do we think is a bit more important? Tell you what, take to the streets there and head out with a few fellas and peacefully protest and tell them, yeah, we don't want any of this gang around here. Because I've regularly gotten comments on the channel, and even in the last couple of hours, from people saying, hey, mate, I live in London. Hey, mate, I live in Paris. Now, obviously, they're not all saying, hey, mate, I'm just paraphrasing here. They're all saying, hey, I live in such and such a place, and they did the exact same thing here, and the place is overrun with poverty, with crime, and other sorts of things that are happening here. So just to boil it down, to let you know, as you do know, I know that anybody that's here, I'm preaching to the choir, you know what it's all about. It's all about money. You see these little homeless charities that haven't fixed homeless, and as long as they've been in existence, they haven't had a zero, what's it called, net zero homeless. They haven't had that at all. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, we got to bring more people in. Hang on, you're telling us you're in a crisis. The word crisis, by the way, is so overused nowadays. It's used for everything. Well, we have a housing crisis. So are you telling people not to come to the country then? No, we're telling them they're welcome. Well, that's a conflicting ideology and conflicting statements that you're making there. It almost seems like you're telling people to come so that you can have more of a job out of that. And as I've been talking to many people in different fields that have since retired from whatever field that they're in, they'll be talking about certain places would have needed 10 people to run it beforehand, and now there's about 160 or 170 odd people running it, all sending emails to each other. This is why you're seeing massive tech drops, why you're seeing layoffs there, because there's people that are out there that are sharing those videos better than I am. Salty's one of them, and shows people on TikTok that are walking around being like, I went to a meeting and then I went to another meeting and then I did a meeting about a meeting. totally frivolous stuff. And these tech companies have looked at it and went, that person's definitely not needed. And they just remove them. Look at Twitter, for example. Twitter removed a load of people. And what's happened is the experience for an awful lot of people has gotten better. That's no mistake. And the tech sector, which is why you're going to see, and I'll be talking about this evening, the tech sector is why the building sector now are like, and the developing sector, I mean, more appropriately, are like, we can't build anymore, guys, because they know that the people working in tech are just going to move off to another country. That's exactly the plan. Okay, so let's jump into the chat, and then we'll jump into Gab. Gab is very important. Make sure you're over there. It's a brilliant social media app. I'm going to say hello here. Make sure you at Ninja Knight in the chat, so that means that I can come to you then at the end and read your comment or whatever you have to say or anything like that, and I very much so appreciate that. Richard McKevitt's in here, says, evening Ninja and everyone. Great turnout last Saturday at the Shelbourne. Fair play to everyone that showed up and made a mockery of the lefties. This is a very astute point, and Richard is completely and utterly correct. The amount of people that were there on the side of Shelbourne versus the other side is very, very telling. And it's that way even from Philip Stream the other night. Philip Stream, I could talk about Philip Stream all night, I really could. But when they had people there that shouted down the left, that were backed by Paul Murphy, and they ended up scurrying away, that is a massive victory. I'm sure Edge Memes and Nail will be on that, and they'll be calling it the Battle of City West. The second Battle of City West, the first one was inside the place, and it didn't seem like there was many arrests made. Even though they're all on camera and everything like that. Then Yardi outside there letting this go on and then telling people like Philip Dwyer to go away from the premises is absolutely unbelievable. But the more times this keeps coming forward and people keep seeing it, the better. Because now you're starting to see a very big public sentiment against what's happening. And people have known for a very long time in circles like this as to what's going on, but you're seeing a bigger one. And it even goes to the media. The media are being found out now and they're being lashed over everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They're being lampooned everywhere. It's great to see. And that's not ever going to come back, by the way. They're never going to win people back over. They're done. They're finished. So, great to see. Eric Griffiths in here, says Ireland. Letitia Logan says this should be good. Emmanuel Godson says Malay. Good to see you here. George Lordy is in here, says, hey. Kevin Dalton, hello. Long time no see in this live chat. Blue Graham One's in here, says evening and all. Let's keep going through the chat. 100 people sitting in here now at the moment. It's much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you indeed. Nelson Spitter says, hey Ninja, did you see the new James English and Tommy Orr interview? Nope. Didn't see that at all. Haven't seen it at all. Been seeing the Irish Inquiries video, and it's absolutely brilliant, you know. And then Philip approaching him then in the live stream. You're the fella that threw Stephen Kerr's phone. Your man's like, Jan Cordes in here says, hi Ninja and all. I hope that you're all well. Good to see you here. Satirical Soldiers in here says, if I had €10 for every minute Ninja was late. Listen, it's I'm not saying I'm like Gandalf or anything like that, but you know, I have to just show up sometimes. I'll try my best to be on time next week. I really will. I promise. Now again, you know, promises sometimes are made to be broken. But with a bit of luck, I'll be in here now next week on time. Donald Dunn says, I was just killing time anyway until we have 105 listeners now. Unbelievable. Donald Dunn says, what's up, Ninja and chat? Oh, I bet there's a lot to get through tonight. Good bit, yeah. And I'm going to try and get through it as much as possible and try and get through the important stuff. It's always important stuff, but you know yourself. Wayne Bork's in here, says, good man, Ninja Night. Humans A says, even Ninja on the chat. Good to see you here. Robert Maher says, yup, what better of a Friday night than some Ninja Night? Yeah, I like that. I like the rhyming now. Great stuff. A lot of fans of Satirical Soldier in the chat. Great to see. A lot of people giving them shout out as well too. Yeah, great channel. Absolutely brilliant. You know, Satirical Soldier's been doing massive stuff. He has over the last number of years. I mean, you have to just take a service into account as well too and say, you know, this is a guy that's going across and putting the life in the line there, and now he's doing YouTube videos and people are looking at him and saying, oh my God, I can't believe this guy. And they're going, he sees everything, and I'm glad that you've got someone that has such training behind him and such distinction behind him that's on the side, because, you know, that's absolutely needed. You got the other gang there that wouldn't know how to tie their shoelaces, you know, so it's nice to know that we have Satirical Soldier on this side. Seem to be an awful lot of able-bodied people on this side, you know. I just noticed that you see people that are sturdy individuals, and you see the others then that, you know, look like they have board arm wings, you know what I mean? These little hollow bones. That's why when you see them when they're getting, in people's face now, that they just get moved aside. They get brushed aside with people's forearms. That's particularly the men as well too, because it's the soy-filled lifestyle that they live. The women, on the other hand, a bit more mighty, bit more chunky, usually. Okay, so I just want to jump into this and let you know about the winning that's been going on this week, just particularly as it pertains to the channel, as everyone knows. I've now crossed 4,000 subscribers. Can't thank you all enough. I really can't. That's absolutely mind-blowing. Honest to God, I started this off and I had like 10 subscribers and doing great. That's absolutely brilliant. So to see 4,000 people subscribe to the channel, that's insane. That's absolutely insane to me. So thank you all very much. So appreciate that. I appreciate all the likes that have been coming on the videos. I mean, I'm absolutely bowled over to see, I'm always, listen, I don't think it'll ever change with me. I'm always bowled over to see 10 likes on a post. When you see 700 on a post, like the video that I did, what was it, yesterday? That's insanity to me. I'm looking at it going, oh my God. And you're seeing a mainstream media complex be utterly outliked by a clown world commentary channel like this, by a dude sitting with a microphone. Like, it's really telling. And I think what's happening is people are starting to look at that and say to themselves, right, there's a clown with a mic there and he's getting 700 likes. And these people over here that have 250,000 followers, along with whatever Philly has on Twitter, are getting 77. That doesn't add up. No, you're right, it doesn't. It certainly doesn't add up. Sure, it doesn't. And not only that, then, if you want to take into account, then, that's a media company that has nearly 60,000 subscribers here on this platform, and they're still struggling to get 77 likes. Like, that's insanity to me. So I very much so appreciate that. Good news today, by the way, before I jump on, I'll show you this. Look at what happened today. The bad boy is reinstated. It is fantastic. Elon Musk has come through on what he was going to talk about, which was reinstating and giving a general amnesty to people that had been banned. I have been banned from Twitter for over a year for astutely saying that a footballer wasn't very good. Now, the thing is, the context of what I said could have been taken anyway, because donkeys, as you know, are very hard-working animals. And they are very much so revered in, particularly not this country, I suppose, but other countries anyway, they're revered. Dirk Kuyt was known as that of Liverpool. And now Manchester United have one in a fella called Fred. And apparently it's not nice to say that. Now, I know for a fact, because Hazel let it out there not too long ago, that certain politicians, allegedly, speculatively, take a sip. People are taking sips on when I say allegedly, speculatively these days. It's shocking stuff. Absolutely shocking. Should be looking at yourselves in the mirror. Anyway, this woman out with it and said, I know people by name and Twitter. So now I know that you've sacked Elon, by the way. Elon has sacked most of these people. And he sacked a major head, I think, 2 weeks ago? Reporting on it here I did in the live stream. And I was like, well, that's seriously interesting. And now I got this email today. So I'd seen that Philip Dwyer was reinstated, and I was like, come here. I was like, there's 100% a chance of me coming back, because if Philip Dwyer's getting back, I'm definitely getting back. Because whatever Philip said was, it was probably milk toast, let's be honest. And definitely what I said was milk toast. And I was reinstated. I was like, brilliant. Now, again, as I said, Philip does great stuff on Twitter as well also, but I was saying to myself, Philip definitely didn't say anything to warrant a suspension, and that was a specific reason. Listen, when you have a clown show like this, quote tweeting politicians and media companies, and I think I did it towards the end, which was probably the one that tipped it over the edge. Claire Bourne tweeted out some absolute nonsense about face nappies and all this sort of stuff, and I was just like, this is ridiculous stuff, and I outliked her. The post got more likes than she did, and I pointed it out. I was like, look at this clown show is that getting more likes than this person over here that's on the live stream news. And soon enough after that, I was no longer on the platform. Now, was the whole situation, the donkey situation, used? I believe so. I personally believe so. Because here's the response. We appreciate your patience, and after further review, we have unsuspended your account. So a year plus, and the bad boy is back. However, please note that when you log into your Twitter account, you'll be asked to complete tasks related to specific tweets in violation of the Twitter rules. You can complete the task to return to full account access. Additionally, it may take an hour or so for your follower and follow numbers to return. Thanks, Twitter. What's the takeaway from this? The takeaway from this is this. Gab is still a superior social media platform, and I will say that. There's no way that I'm looking at Twitter and saying to myself, well, that's going to be the go-to now. I'm only, as I said to you before, I'll be using it as a tool going forward, being like, promote the stuff over there. And as I said at the beginning, any clown that's coming in and wants to try and get into a debate, you're not going to change these leftist minds. Bang, you're gone out of there. No interest, because I'm only interested now in this account in promoting the videos. That's all it's going to be, and obviously interacting with you. That's all that's going to happen on this platform. Well, here it is over here. You've got it at @the_ninja night. So if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and you do possess a Twitter account, that's where I'll be. I'll be doing a video on it as well to let people know that I've been reinstated. I am back in 7 days. So I will be back and I will be tweeting. And I'll be tweeting out the material. And that's exactly what I'm going to use it for going forward. So that's a win. You know, we're staying winning here, which is very important. And this is exactly what I was talking about. As I said, and I'm not taking this in sort of like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. It's turning the corner and the tide is turning. I'm not going to forget what Twitter did, and I'm not going to be hanging out on my hopes on Twitter. Certainly when I've built Gab over here. Gab is very important, and I can't stress that enough. Twitter's already showing its colours. Gab, on the other hand, sounds a pound. So to me, why would I go back full time to Twitter or anything like that? Gab is where it is for me. So I'm just going to show you this as well, because I thought this was important to show you because of, again, it's very easy to say, oh no, you're absolutely spoofing here. No, not at all. There was a lot of comments that were on it about it fairly quickly. And here's where we were at. So as you can see here, this is News Talk's post there with 77 likes. And my video after an hour has 285 likes. Insane, isn't it? Now, News Talk's post was posted at 15 hours. So I decided to go back and post what I had gotten at 15 hours. And I had 699 likes. That's mad, isn't it? That is absolutely insane. I actually jumped then up to the 4,000 mark then after that. So much appreciate to everybody that jumped on. That's crazy, isn't it? When you look at that. When you look at that figure there and say, look at the difference between those. And that's the difference between us and the mainstream media now. The mainstream media is on its way out. Have you noticed all of their articles, particularly the more interesting ones, are now gone behind paywalls? Now, of course, the left wants to read those and bring them to us and say, oh, look what they're saying over here. And you want to say, oh yeah, oh, you're paying to them. They're asking for money, are they? Oh, that's really strange, isn't it? That's odd. And you're paying for that then, are you? Okay, right, okay. Yeah, TV license as well. They're telling you they have to pay that, by the way. Not really fair, is it? And then you got a couple of goons that are there below being like, oh my God, you have a donate button. What's that about? That's only if people want to support. That's all what that is. Nobody's compelled to do so. And nobody has to support to gain access to the stuff. Nobody has to do that. So I thought it's here. I'm just going to jump in on some of the stuff that we also like to do, which is post on social media. And again, you obviously have to, speak in certain ways to people on these social media apps. Gab, not like that at all. I know I'm really shilling for Gab this evening. It's ridiculous, but that's just how much I like it. And with the amount of people that are here, I think it's good to build up parallel social media. You tired of being banned from Facebook? You tired of being banned from Instagram and Twitter? Join Gab. I'm not being paid by Gab, swear to God. But this is the thing. I just like it. I really do. You see this one here that responded to Carla, and she said, now again, I think the pronouns are in the bio here, she, her, to let you know, because sometimes with these people, it does be dicey, He was arrested for, they're talking about Enoch Burke, by the way. So just to give you a quick summary of what's going on with Enoch Burke, still returning to the school now despite being dismissed, has something like another week to appeal the decision for them to dismiss him, which is crazy stuff. The fact, turning into Northern Irish here. The fact that he was dismissed ultimately because of a Transformers issue. Now, people say it wasn't because of that. Well, Sky News are saying that that's what the case was. They're actually saying that. So I'll show you the article down below. But this is in response there to a statement about Enoch Burke and how unfair the treatment was with it. Councillor Owen Hanley doesn't seem to have been apprehended yet. When I say apprehended, speculatively, allegedly, hasn't been picked up. No media articles about that. I would very much so appreciate people sharing that video and letting people know about that, because that kind of lets you know everything you need to know. And certainly when people are turning up to like the City West, like to do the protest during the week, they're clearly on side as to what's going on, who's been protected. I even seen another video today. Leanne Corder sent it to me today, and it was of the Facebook. What am I talking about? It was of the protest there outside Leinster House, and it was on Facebook. And some of the choice comments that were made, I was looking at it being like, Yeah, not wrong there. You're not wrong there. So this one here, he says he was arrested for turning up at a place of work when he was suspended and refusing to leave. He wasn't arrested for not calling a person their pronouns. That's how it began, though. And now you're saying these people that have all of a sudden got care for women being questioned, they're like, oh my God, I couldn't believe he was questioning women. Can't believe that he was aggressively questioning women. Really? You're the same people that are saying welcome everybody and anybody into the country then and are like, shh, about Ashton Murphy. Don't say anything about Ashton Murphy anymore, guys. Because people might look at that and see who was involved in that. Don't be saying anything else about anything that's going on in this country. Say nothing. Shh, shh, shh. That's what they're all at now. So keep talking about it. Talk about it more. She then says he wasn't arrested for that. It isn't a narrative. It is world changing and evolving as human nature does. Complete spoof, as you know. And as I wrote here, I said, absolutely is a narrative. You most likely don't know what the Nuremberg Code is, nor the Geneva Convention, but I reckon you supported the Voldemort passports, eh? And she went on and said, oh Lord, the Nuremberg Code. Now, this is how you do it, guys, because this was a one and done. This person kept, I think, 3 or 4 times after, it was just like, okay, I'm done talking to you now. Okay, but you keep coming back. So it clearly shows me then that you're clearly not done. So you're not too bright. Oh Lord, the Nuremberg Code, one of those, are you? Sorry, but I refuse to debate with a stupid person. No offense. No offense taken, because when you have someone that doesn't have that much intellect saying these things about you, you have to say, well, it's water off a duck's back, really. Have a good day. And as I said, haha, always the same. You dorks always rule. And they do. Every time they're confronted with these things, they always take a legger on it. And you've seen during the week, it was one of the things, again, I'm referencing it again, Philip Dwyer's stream outside City West, like when he was asking them when they were like, say it loud and say it clear, refugees are welcome here. And Philip was like, how many is taken in? How many is have them housed in your house? And there was just deafening silence. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, I expected 1 or 2 Gilberts there to say, I have 4 in the house, and this is where we're going with this. We have 4 of them. I was like, not a chance there. Ain't a chance that this is happening now at all, that these people are going to have 4 of them in the place. No way is it happening. Just checking on the stream there, making sure everything's hunky-dory. Just freezes up sometimes. Hang on there for a second. Sometimes I'm always getting things. People follow me on Twitter already. The phone's like, fair play to you. So just referencing the stream, which I'm going to obviously do during this stream because I think it's important, And as I was saying there, you got these people out there that ain't too bright that are talking about these things when it comes to the Nuremberg Code, Geneva Convention. Forget about that. It was all thrown out the window for the sniffles. And now, rules and laws, to get back to the point that I was making, rules and laws were suspended for the last couple of years because of the sniffles. But all of a sudden, rules and laws are back in the game. Now, as you know as well as I do, that's how they wanted to play the game. So if you want to play the game like that, I'll happily play it. I should have said speculatively, allegedly there before I had a quick swig. Okay. You got this here, right? From HSE Ireland. You can reduce your risk of developing cervical big C by attending HPV cervical screenings. Now, I was talking to someone recently that was talking about the HPV, and you're talking about that and saying there's question marks around that. And I think there was a big story about it a couple of years ago. And yeah, I definitely would look into all these things if I was you. But look at this statement here. It's always this type of image as well too. Look at the heading. Like, it's not an attractive looking image at all. Sure, it's not. And it's not meant to be, because here's what they say. This is the HSE, by the way. So if anybody's asking you why you're questioning the likes of this is why. Each year in Ireland, 300 women, sure, and people with a cervix. Excuse me? What do you mean by that? 300 women and people with a cervix. That's women, isn't it? Because they're the only people that have that. Oh, no. You see, this is where it's gone. It's gone with this whole agenda thing. Why do you think that Mary Lou was out during the week spouting over the way she was spouting over? That's not a mistake. Now, I told that to a friend of mine who was, this guy's big into Sinn Féin, I'm telling you. And I says to him, what do you think about Mary Lou? And I'm telling you, I could see the whiteness just appeared on his face and just looking at me like a deer in the headlights. What? And I said, yeah. What do you think about that? And just no words, just went, the world's mad. Yeah, and they're in on it too. So just letting you know. So Get cervical this and 90 pass from it. Get informed, eliminate cervical cancer. And these are the people, by the way, and people that support these things that are telling you that you're disrespectful and you are not thinking about women. This is a massive disservice to women. This is absolutely outrageous. I have to be honest with you. The fact that this is carrying on is absolutely sickening. It has to be, Okay, next thing that I'm talking about, this is from Filtware's CUS stream. And what can you notice here? You've got the lads here wearing masks. Now, I'll be honest with you. I was looking at this, and that, to be honest, there was a couple of things that happened in the stream that I was like, lads, you got as Philip was saying, look at this reg of this car there, the blue and yellow flag waving country. There's a reg going through there. They're waving around on the bother. They wouldn't let Philip pass on in to ask people questions, but they were letting anybody else in that was obviously not of this country walk past. This live stream has to be the biggest eye opener for a lot of people, a lot of normies in particular, to what is happening here and who is complicit and who is complying with this sort of stuff here. Now, you keep hearing the likes of Leo Varadkar and various other people saying, and sure, I'll do the Leo Varadkar, like, we're thinking about, like, arming the Gardaí. Well, I tell you what, if it comes to things like this, I certainly would be questioning that. Questioning it very much so. What I would also say is, if you don't know how to defend yourself, begin learning how to defend yourself. And I would say also to you to make sure that you have the means to do so. Speculatively, allegedly. Because if that sort of talk is happening, that is an escalation. And it's an escalation as we keep seeing. There ain't no energy from these people to go in and sort out real crime. There ain't no energy from these people to sort out the likes of people running around, memo files, as they'd be talking about. No energy about that whatsoever. But plenty of energy for the Irish people. Plenty of energy for people standing up for civil rights, freedoms, liberties, and also then as well the corruption that's running this country. It's absolutely outrageous. And this is more of it here. There's two things that I thought during this, and my initial thought was, I can't believe this spoofing is still going on. There was two things that I thought. And the first one was this. Perhaps there are people that are within the service, which I'm sure there are, that fully believe that the sniffles is still a problem, right? That's a serious issue because those people are compromised, is what I will say. Those people are compromised by the fact that they are learning and they are listening to the media and they are just blindly following that. I would not trust anybody that's wearing something like this with anything. With anything. When I see people wearing these things still now, I'm like, that's an option and a choice that you're taking, and I fully do not trust you at all. Then I see this here as well, which is the snoods, as they're also called, Gettrs as well. They're being warned. Now, what I did was I had a look at the Gardaí policy of dress, and I reached out to a very reliable source, and they spoke to me about how this is somewhat still covered in the policy because they still have the policy from 2021, which talks about having PPE. But when it comes to neck gaiters, that's a very different thing to what's on this fella's face here. This, to me, again, someone concerned about the sniffles. But the second thing about it is it's a concealing of identity. This is something that you should be very concerned about now, because this would say to me that these people, allegedly, speculatively, are not interested in the sniffles. They're not too afraid about that because remember, you had to wear this face nappy because those ones didn't work. That's what we kept getting told. People were harassed and harangued around jobs and supermarkets and all that if they weren't wearing this. Same in the likes of hospitals, but if they were wearing this, you couldn't wear that. That to me seems like a concealing of identity. That's really not good because when that happens, it shows me two things from that also. It shows me first thing, which is something that I prefer to think about, and I hope it shows shame in one way, in my view. It would show that they're ashamed to be there and they're ashamed then for them to be seen. The second thing is, though, and as we all know, as what we've seen in America, is people are using things like this as an excuse from the sniffles to commit crimes. So, when people are covering themselves up like that, I'd have very serious questions, particularly people that are supposed to be in law enforcement. The whole idea of you, and again, I'm just spitballing here, coming around to talking about their policies, like they're not allowed to have long hair. They have to have a meticulously crafted beard if they're going to have them. They have to grow it off was it, off season or whatever it might be, off hours or whatever it might be, women have to have their hair pulled back. It was actually ironic to see fellas wearing these things, and the woman that was there, who was mounting over, had the hair pulled back. I was like, oh, that's interesting. No face nappy on her, but the hair pulled back. So you can't have long hair, you can't have a beard, but they're able to wear these things. Now, as this reliable source had said, if these are not issued by An Garda Síochána, then they're not allowed. So what you might see next is, because they'll have to circumvent this, because I'm sure there's a video coming on that one, because that's a topic I'm sure people will be interested in. They'll probably issue Gardaí related things with the little badge or whatever on it. Like, it'd be probably printed on like plastic, like, you know, the replica football shorts that you get sometimes if you pay a premium for them, and then somebody will are cheaper once you get them. That's probably what will happen next. But that should concern every citizen in the country, because that is very serious, because it's not that cold out, as you had seen multiple people that were around that weren't wearing anything like that, and yet these people are. So there's multiple ways of looking at that, and none of them positive is what I'm saying. It's not good. You move on then, you see this fella that was getting a bit rowdy with Philip, and again, behind the safety of this here was even more aggravated. It's a pity they're not that energetic about anything that's going on in the likes of O'Connell Street or various other areas around. Sure, it's not. But this is why you're starting to see panic as well from the government when they want to have the likes of body cameras on these people. As you can see from this live stream now, whether you deem it right or not, everyone is filming. Everybody's filming something. And this is where things are going now. They're going to have body cameras on. I have no issue with the Gardaí wearing body cameras. No problem at all. But you've shown us with incidents like this here and wearing these things, incident like this here and wearing these things, that you would be very well within your right, in my view, to record them. If they said to you, look, I've got the body camera on, I wouldn't be trusting that at all. I really wouldn't. That won't hold up, because you've seen now certain pieces of evidence, not only here in Ireland, but in other places in the world. They're like, we can't find that. It's distorted. It's broken. It's deleted. You just have to take our word for it. And taking our word for it is what the judicial system has used for a very long time here. And that's not been good at all either. So there's a couple of things that I thought about that. And I mean, even here where you have these guys here that are arguing with this, I mean, look at this. You know, it really says it all. I don't know what people think in the chat. They might think otherwise, but I can't say it being. It didn't seem to me from the zealousness of these people that it didn't seem to be shame. It didn't seem to be shame as to what they were wearing. And now I'm only making an observation, is what I'm doing, giving me humble opinion here. But it answered these people better to go in and remove people from the country that have entered the country illegally. You know, plenty of energy for people that were going and trying to access a restaurant, club, cinema, whatever it might be, without face nappy on there. Plenty of energy for that. Plenty of energy for bringing people to court and everything like that over nonsense, over speeding tickets and all that. Oh, you haven't got your tax and insurance paid. You know, hang on. Have you not seen the likes of Chico McCandle walking around the place? Have you not done anything about that? And by the way, the Chico McCandle stuff only got done because people, average Joe citizens, were going, no, I'm not having this fella in our area. That's the only reason that was gotten done, because they'd have left that off there. It wouldn't have had any problem at all. So I find that to be very interesting. That's what I thought. Moving on to this here, 68 likes on Renews. This is another company that has an awful lot of followers on Twitter. I'm supposing that they're going to drop followership pretty soon, because Elon had been talking about removing bots from platforms like Twitter. And when he said platforms, I think he might try and acquire another one, and I hope it's going to be this one. So I think that could be fantastic. But I found this to be an interesting one, because with the Councillor Owen Hanley story kind of petering out and them not wanting to talk about it, a TD for Dublin Central. Now, this fella is known within the area that he's from, because I talk to people from the area all of the time, and they say that they don't know, A, how this fella got in. I think you can see now, and as why, because he's buying in with these people. And B, he's dirtied his bib in and around his area for what he's done. Now, as I said to people before, and you might be someone that's listening in, you might take great offence with it. When someone speaks with a lisp, I just instantly don't trust you now, because you've got 2 for 2 on people with lisps here that have messed about. So the TD for Dublin Central has said, proposed new laws aimed at stopping criminals doing this to children into a life of crime won't work unless backed by an anti-poverty strategy. He's also in the Social Democrats there with Owen Hanley, and that party knew for nearly 5 months as to what the accusations were there, and he has the audacity to talk about that. Really? Are you serious? And all of the comments, by the way, because there was loads of comments on this, and they were like, yeah, that's a bit rich, and people were asking them then about how handy. They were posting it in there. So you're getting done on a platform like this as well, which is great. And that's why you're seeing a massive move from the likes of the left and people that are local champions as to why they're trying to move towards saying, these people on social media, they shouldn't have a voice. Oh, so you don't want debate, do you not? That's fine. That's okay. As I said to people before, take that stuff away and say, right, block them, get rid of them, and then use them then later on and say, hey, look what's going on here. The screenshots of these people are still going to exist. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. And it's absolutely insane. It's an insane world we live in, guys. I'm telling you, absolutely mental. The fact that they have the audacity to come out and use that word. Now, to me, they're, in my opinion, they're purposely using that word because they're very well aware as the story is what's going on. But no energy for that story. Plenty of energy for Enoch Burke. Lots of energy for that to be reporting on him every day, all day, yourself. And that's what you've got. You've got a very clear indicator as to where we're going with this. Now, Enoch Burke, just briefly talking about him, I think it's great to see the energy that's surrounding that guy insofar as so many people that are supporting him. You're seeing them, they're threatening now with a fine. Oh, €700 a day he's going to be fined. Sure, it's unlawful as to what happened with him anyway. And he'd probably end up in the European courts because that's how far they'll try and drag it out. And then he'd most likely, I would say, I would love to see the game plan legally there, because is the game plan ultimately to be reinstated after a period of time? Wonder what will happen there. A lot of people are talking about the staff room and how people react to him. I mean, that says it all. Oh, well, what would the other people think that are there? Tell you what, the other people that are there obviously have no bottle between them, because not one of them supported them. Not one of them publicly came out and supported them, which I think is absolutely disgraceful. And it goes to show you the cowardice that is rife throughout this country, particularly in professions like civil servants, and particularly when you see, as we've just seen there, you've got Gardaí, you've got teachers, you've got nurses, and the cowardice amongst each of those professions to come out and speak about what's going on is mind-boggling. It's absolutely shocking. But what's happening with these professions is these professions are lefty, I would say, magnets, because a lot of people that are there haven't lived in the real world. I mean, look at the little narcissistic ego trips that a lot of these people get when they put on the likes of the uniform and go out. Look at the narcissistic ego trips people go on when they're running their class. Look at the narcissistic ego trips people go on when they put on a little badge and a little white outfit and walk around and tell people, oh, wear your mask, wear your mask. It's to protect you. It's to protect you and to protect me. But if I go to the gym, you don't need to wear a mask. So, boy, you're going to harass me inside this building. You're going to harass me inside of a hospital. Why? Because they said so. Well, you're clearly not thinking at all. So you're not someone that should be listened to. And again, like I said before, you got to take these things as you find them. You can see this here there. John says, CUS, can we start giving out NGOTD's addresses and letting our new arrivals head to their homes for shelter? Can't see any objections. No further comment. Moving on. You see this here. You've got another person that's a blow-in deciding to talk about our language. Emma DeBeardy on the Irish language at the Tommy Tiernan show. Now, the Tommy Tiernan show, I'm going to show you an article from down below, and the media are out there, and I'm going to do it because I'm just like, you know what, I'm just sick of the lies I am. And they're like, 40,000 people have tuned out of Tommy Tiernan's show there on Friday night. Why is that, media? Well, it's because, he told an offensive joke. No. Do you know why that is? Because when he told people that he was sorry and he made that public apology, that came before the show. And the media is looking to go, so 40,000 people decided that saying sorry to a blow-in and someone that wanted to play the certain cards wasn't good enough, and they decided to switch him off. That's the correlation that's there. And look at the follow-up here. You have this other goofball that's coming onto the channel there talking about the Irish language. I'll tell you what, hard necks all around. Then you see this here. This was shared out. You've got an international student homeless in Ireland. Hashtag Galway, hashtag Ireland, hashtag India. Head on home is what I would suggest to you. That's, I think a fairly important thing to know. Head on home if you're not happy here. Podcasting's going to start next week, hopefully. I'm looking at a couple of different places. I'm going to be definitely on Spotify and on, I think was a Podbean, I think it was was the one I was looking at. Yeah, so kind of trying to spread it out. I know people were saying put it on iTunes as well too. I'll have to look into that one also, but definitely be on Spotify, because why not? My view is throw it up there, see what happens, and have a look at that. Now, like I said to you before, there's Go Loud Presents. So that's a Bauer-owned company, and they are reposting. Some people are saying, they're reposting what these guys are talking about. But I tell you what, this week, these people have something like 9,000 followers. Hang on, I just click that there, see if that'll do it. Yes, it will. These people have 9,000 followers, I think, on the Twitter account, and they got 19 likes on that. Now, as you can see, 11.2k impressions, so 11.2k views. Now, I'm not thinking that I'm going to get an amazing amount of likes constantly on my Twitter posts. I'm not thinking that at all. I'm guaranteeing you I'm not. And it's the same with all the different social media apps, you know. I just like to point out things like that are supposed to be popular, but don't seem to be generating any sort of interest. Now, what you see here is they had a podcast with Aoife Moore. So this was a real eye-opener, and someone messaged me as well that follows them and has been following them for quite some time. And this was a real eye-opener to them, because they had your woman Aoife Moore on, who was calling people far right and saying all sorts of things about people on some sort of show previously. And then was talking about, with these fellas, about not protesting outside certain places, but protesting outside government buildings. Protesting outside government buildings is a waste of time. Now, I think that when people protest there, fine, do whatever you're doing. But I think what the media and the establishment are showing you, and they have done, they've played their hand. It's all like a game of cards. They've played their hand now at the moment, and we can see their hand. Their hand is this: they get very nervous about people protesting in different areas. Why? The reason why they get nervous about that, and that's where they're going to the media saying the Gardaí are understaffed and they're undermanned and they have to have much more help. They're telling you that because what's happening is, if you have a protest in Finglas and you've got one over in Drimnagh, that means the Gardaí are stretched, and if there's normally about 10 of them in the station there, it's much easier for them to all gather together in the likes of town at one place. And that's what's going on. So when you gather into one place like that at town, they can all just go, oh yeah, we're going to head there, and we just corral people in. Said it before. Never have I seen an operation speculatively, allegedly, like the one that I speculatively, allegedly seen in Stephen's Green, speculatively, allegedly. Unbelievable stuff. I've never seen an operation like it before, speculatively, allegedly. And when you see that sort of stuff and how that's carried out, and the corralling then of people into one area, and then what ended up happening there. Remember the man that fired a firework at them? Doesn't seem to have been any update to that story at all. Doesn't seem to have been brought to the courts at all. I'm going to do a video on it. Don't worry about that. Now, I'm sure there'll probably be a media article out by Monday or Tuesday saying, oh, he's been sped through the courts. That's really interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting how you arrested and got Enoch Burke into prison really quick, lickety split there for 3 months. But then your man that's fired in a firework at Gardaí, that can wait. Weird. That's weird. Very strange. And people should look at that. They should go, yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. I'm telling you, we agree. But anyway, this one on was spouting over, and this is a woman as well too that's very self-conscious. And as you know, as I keep saying, the women on the left, you know, extras from Lord of the Rings is what I would say. The orcs and the Uruk-hai, the goblins, you know, extras for that. Very conscious about how she looks, and that keeps obviously being told to her as well, which she doesn't like and gets a bit upset about. But her thing was, go and protest outside government buildings. I'm telling you now, it doesn't work. What's working, and they're telling you it's working, is the grassroots movements that are happening in different areas. That's working. That's for sure working. Because they have let us know, because they're like, we need more Gardaí. Oh, all of a sudden you have to be telling us about how unfit they are and how a lot of them are resigning. Yeah, but you need more of them, you do. Why is that all of a sudden? Well, is it to combat the incoming wave of crime that's going to happen here? Dublin's going to become like Gotham City. It absolutely is on that way. Now, someone will say, it already, Ninja Night, it already is. You got around O'Connell Street, and I agree with you. It is like Gotham in and around there. But suburbs are going to start getting it next. And when they're talking about people being homeless, we're talking about that here in this stream, but you've not seeing what's going to come coming. And to me, you just got to look at one place to see what's going to happen here. Independent.ie running this story here. Security review as Lord Mayor fears for her safety after anti-immigration protest outside Mansion House. No, pro-Irish demonstration. That's what it was. Spoof that you're saying there in media. 5 likes on that one, security review. And as I say to you all the time and every time as well too, you know, you just got to look at them. And there's some people out there that might say, Ninja, that's very unappealing. I don't care. I really don't. You just have to keep looking at these people, and it's majority unattractive white women every time. And a lot of them over the hill, a lot of them very unhappy. And then you're seeing then the likes of Hazel and people like that creeping into the place that wants to play all the time. You'll say, want to play on, I'm Irish, but then want to say, well, I'm also an immigrant too, and I'm descended from immigrants. Okay, so which is it? Which one are you picking? Which one are you siding? Pick a side. You can't run around and say to me that you're Irish and then in the next breath then say, oh, you know, I'm African. No, it doesn't work like that. You're one or the other, and if you're feeling like you're one more than the other, you can stay over there. Now, this is what's happening. More and more people are looking at the likes of this person and are going, you're not Irish. And this generation, the generation after me, for sure, are looking at it that way. They are very much so looking at it that way, and they're saying to themselves, no, I'm not having this. I'm not having this at all. And what has been done to people over the last few years, I keep telling you, like the sports ball and stuff like that, sports ball has softened people's cough on these things and said, oh, yeah, well, Paul McGrath's Irish. Now, born in England, Nigerian father, Irish mother, done. Not interested. That's how you were goosed not too long ago. And again, I say that not only about Paul McGrath, we talk about Ray Houghton and these people, you know, Aidan McGeady. Nothing to do with Ireland at all, you know, nothing to do with it. So, to me, people are starting to see that now. And you've got this individual that decided to ring the Gardaí. They're actually telling you in this article, I rang the Gardaí because I was afraid. Why? Why is that? Why be afraid? People were peacefully protesting, and rightfully so, about what's happening. You're seeing livelihoods that have been taken away from people over the last couple of years on a whim because of the sniffles. And then all of a sudden, then the government wheel in tens of thousands of people into the country, and then they're like, we don't have any room. Yeah, no joke there, guys, because everybody told you that. Everybody knew that. And then you're talking about a housing referendum, which isn't going to end well. And I'm promising you this, the housing referendum is going to be something that is going to be eyes wide open to that. I would start now. If you know people that are not admitting to what's going on, are trying to challenge you with what's happening, tell them about the housing referendum. Tell them that they're going to try and forcefully put people into your gaff, because that's exactly where they're moving towards next. Now, they'll try and say, no, it's not. But to me, it is. Because they've already stated that. You know, Helen McEntee has been talking about that, and other people, you know, Richard Boyle Barrett was another one as well too, that was saying very strange things. Paul Murphy here, very clearly in here with the old, you know, what's that one supposed to be? Is that the Transformers flag? You know, there's that many flags nowadays. You don't know which is which. And it's pretty appropriate coming from this guy. This is another fella, by the way, is a TD that ran away, as you can see here, from Philip Dwyer in the stream. You know, this is a guy that wanted to post on Twitter, and did post on Twitter, about how people were concerned parents, and he wanted to highlight the grammatical error that was made, the lack of a comma, I think, in the post that they made, or poster, or whatever it might have been. Wanted to highlight that, and he was saying concerned parents. Yeah, that's not going to be something you're going to be, though, Paul, because you're a fella that's been in the media talking about IVF and nothing happening there. So, you know, luckily, silver linings to all of these things, isn't there? And a lot of people feel that way about the jabronis. They're like, the other side is quieting down an awful lot. You're absolutely right. The other side is losing numbers. You're absolutely right. Maybe we've been looking at the jabronis the wrong way. Speculatively, allegedly. So people are starting to look at that and they're going, okay. So anyway, City West tonight. What was it? I was proud to stand with others outside City West tonight against division and hate. Again, these people like to post these type of things, and they're very much so the opposite. You know, it's, to me, the video that was posted outside the house when you got an earful from the people there, I think that was a real eye opener for him. I think he was like, oh my God, these, and no, I don't think you'd say, oh my God, but he was certainly like, oh no, people are actually turning against me and they're very angry. They're right to be. This is a person in People Before Profit, if you don't remember. These are people that wanted the place locked down pretty much forevermore. Like, they wanted this zero strategy that was used in the likes of New Zealand. Out there stuff. And these people were proved wrong multiple times. This is a rich country. Absolutely is a rich country. That's not an incorrect statement. The problem is the wealth is in the hands of the rich. Right, it always seems to be the way with you people. You seem to think that your little views there that are held similarly in China seem to work out really well. No, the rich still stay rich over there, particularly the super rich, and nobody has a chance of being wealthy. And as you'll know, people like this fella and the media want to attack the likes of the Andrew Tates of the world and various other people out there that are self-made. And again, question marks around certain people, but I'm sure this is why you're seeing an escalation as well, and why you're seeing them get so happy about certain things, because if they see an average person come up with money, it bugs them. And they're like, that person shouldn't have money, because then they'll have money, then they'll have influence. And I mean, look at, you only have to look at the movie that starred Al Pacino as Tony Montana to realize, what really is going on. And you probably can look at the likes of Narcos as well too, where, Pablo, I'm not saying, here's the thing, Pablo did out there bad things. Nobody's saying that he didn't. This is the point that I'm making. But he was a dude that got money, and big money real quick. And then there was two governments that were like, that guy's a bad guy. Really? That's the pot and the kettle calling each other black there. Really is. So anyway, these people don't want average people having money, because when you have money, then you get power and influence. And this is what these people dramatically fear. And this is why you're seeing them starting to be bugged out by, different social media apps, and why they're very upset about that, because they're looking and they're seeing the power be wrestled away from them, and the control, and particularly the narrative, because the narratives are the control. And when I say narratives, when people are posting the truth, it's very difficult to tell lies that are going to counter the truth, because you have to tell so many lies and remember your lies very efficiently. This is why I do the videos that I do, because I can be like, well, here's how you were talking about that, but here's what you said in the past, and here's what is also going on in the country. So what you're saying doesn't match up here. If we stand together, we can fight for decent homes, healthcare, and services for all. How long is this guy in the government? And when I say government, the opposition, and has anything been done in relation to that? No. So there you go. These people outside the same thing. They all tell you what you want to hear. When we get a chance. Now I'm telling you, I'm just going to let you know this now. I have it from a very reputable source that Sinn Féin, if they had enough seats in the next election, which is the way that they want to go, because you can see the other gang are like, tell you what, the heat's on us a bit, lads. We definitely want Sinn Féin to get in there. This gang will jump in with Sinn Féin. Now, that's from allegedly, speculatively reputable source. So this is just to let you know where this is going, and that's why I'm doing videos, and that's why you're seeing a sudden twist by people to go, oh, I need to defend Sinn Féin. That's weird. And now the fact that you're defending them seems even more strange. And why is it that you're defending them? You're defending them because you know that they're probably, most likely, going to be the next ones in power. And if people are already awake to what's going on with them and what they're at and what they're pushing forward, which is exactly the same as what Finnegan and Fianna Fáil are posting, it's trouble, it's problems, because now people can realise, hang on for a second, these are the people that wanted that zero lark. Sinn Féin were talking about zero lark, deleted those statuses, deleted those Facebook posts. Thought people wouldn't remember those, but they will. That's why I have a video coming out. I'm going to repost the Paul Donnelly video. Him outside the door telling people all sorts on the likes of Twitter. Constantly, consistently wrong. Every single time. So it's going to be no different from what you've been used to and accustomed to over the last couple of years and the last few decades. And all you got to do is look at the North. You only got to look at there and say to yourself, well, Sinn Féin in power, what's that going to look like? It's going to look exactly the same as what it looks like in the North. Michelle O'Neill turning up to things that are not native to Northern Ireland. The Northern Irish, by the way, have now people that are coming in being like, it's great that they're learning Arabic in schools, but how about the Gaeilge, no? You are loggerheads about that, but the Arabic, no problem at all. Weird. Very strange. Darby here says, why didn't you speak to Philip Dwyer? You didn't look very proud hiding behind those brain downers. And if you've ever seen The Walking Dead, all you've got to do is look at that and then look at the crowd that was there, and you're like, stand clear, stand here, refugees are welcome here. But I have to be honest with you, the video from Philip was insane. And the fact that he was mockingly asking them the questions and being like, many of you got, what are you doing? How are you getting on? And then the fact that they were drowned out by other people, fantastic. What a win. Absolutely brilliant stuff. You've got this person here as posting out this Drimna stuff as well. This is a person that's a Sinn Féin supporter, just as you know. And I wanted to make posters for this, but I got the flu jabroni and the... What an advertisement for it. Going to be a case of the suddenlies, possibly, allegedly, speculatively, in each arm, and I'm like the Hulk. My arms are concrete bricks. Can barely lift them, never mind a paintbrush. Reminder for this tomorrow at Drimna Lil Stop. So a lot of these people posting about this online, but then not actually turning up to it because it's not good. People are not on their side. That's why I've shown you there. 9,535 followers, 19 likes on the post there. I'll just show you that again. But these guys now are being questioned by a lot of people, and a lot of people as well that are also have been fans of them for a very long time. And I think it's good to see people are starting to look at them and starting to ask very serious questions. Now, I seen a couple of the comments from them about this in their Instagram post, and they got very salty about them really quickly. Now, I have someone that said to me that there's a specific politician that has their ear, and I was looking and I was like, yeah, well, they do follow that politician. That politician, from what I understand, follows them. And I said, well, that wouldn't make me too surprised, because these people, the fact that they're owned by Go, well, I don't know what they're owned. They certainly signed the contract with Go Loud, and then Bauer Media owned them, which is a German company. Obviously, to me, here's the thing, right? And if anybody's in touch with them or whatever, like, or anybody knows them, ask them to bring Philip Dwyer on. See if they do that. See if they're open to talking about him and talking to him. How about talking to him? What about talking to Satirical Soldier? How about the Irish Inquiry? Why don't you bring on Stephen Kerr? How about that? What about the Irish Git? Bring him on. Dave Cullen? What about those? There's a number of fellas there that you could bring on that could talk about at length as to what went on. Here's another one, because we give a shout out to the ladies. Tracy O'Mahony. Bring her on. Invite her on. She'll tell you all about what happened the last couple of years, tell you about the ins and outs of it, and how much of a struggle and how difficult it was, particularly in the legal profession, and how just flippantly the legal side of things in this country was just turned off for the best part of 2 years. How about bringing her on? Schedules and all that. Bring them on. If you're all about it and you want to talk about things like that, talk about it like that. Otherwise, you're just two talking ball bags, So you've got a litany of people you could bring on, and if you're going to bring them on, happy days. And I think that would show a fair side of things. But what's happening is those people are just platforming. Now, I hate using the word platform, and I really don't like using it, but we'll use it in this text or context, I should say. Excuse me there. I was looking at this. And how about using that then? You're giving those people an ability to speak on your podcast and talk nonsense. How about bringing people on that have the people's interests at heart? How about someone that's out there that's seen what's happening on the ground? Makes sense, wouldn't it? So you see this here. Do you think Enoch Burke would have went to jail or be sacked if he was a woman or if he was other things? If not, isn't that discrimination against white male Christians? Now, it's insane to see the lengths that the school went to with regards to this. This is a school that professes to be a Christian school, and they've since put up a post on Twitter that has rainbow colours on a board and talking about inclusion and diversity and everything like that with the rainbow colours and all of that. Like, tell you what, lads, you need to be keeping an eye out. And now you're starting to see a big drive from the media talking about homeschooling. And we're talking about that now in a few moments. I'm going to do a separate video on it also. How to interact with someone who still wears a face nappy. I love it. This is Lynn Ruan. Emergency department waiting times and hospital admissions. You just got to look at our guys, and every single time, what do we keep telling you? It's never a 10 out of 10. The mainstream media and the likes of the political parties are going to have to work overtime now to try and find attractive women. I'm guaranteeing you now, in the next 5 years, probably in the next 2, they're going to work overtime to try and put attractive women forward. I'm guaranteeing you, because all you keep seeing is complete and utter extras from the Lord of the Rings, goblins and orcs and Uruk-hai. That's all you're seeing. You keep seeing it every single time. I don't even have to look at the person that's writing an article or that said something in the media anymore before I can look it up and go, yeah, every time, just confirm to me someone that looks like a very strange individual and, is getting a lot of attention on social media because they wouldn't normally get attention in real life. This one's out here. This has been a bit of a laugh. Dalkey needs refugees. While other areas of Dublin have in recent years been given the chance to experience the wonders of diversity, Dalkey has remained egregiously pale and stale. This is how you do it, guys. I'm telling you, it's absolutely brilliant to see this. I wonder how many refugees the likes of Philly McMahon has taken in now. How about Helen McEntee? What about Leo Varadkar? How about the likes of Liam Cunningham? What about Bono? What about all these people that are spouting out them in the media talking about these things? How many of them have taken them in? Oh, I don't have the space. I don't have the money. I wouldn't trust them. That's interesting. I find that to be fascinating. We are therefore calling on the government to allow Dalkey the same opportunity to open our hearts and our homes to those in need. Together, we can make a difference and demonstrate that Dalkey is a community of true inclusivity and compassion. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Saw this here today as well. Women in power. What if the harassment shield was on the other foot? Exactly. You wouldn't like it either. Hey, man, you look cute. You should smile more. Most fellas would say, thanks. Much appreciated. Because they only hear you look cute. Hello, lovely gentlemen. Nice. Fix your own computer. You're so smart. That's impressive. The dude's like, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. You look way too good to be a cashier. Smiling. Yeah, happy days. Because that's how men deal with these things, you know. And this is what's perceived as a difficult life for women. Now, these are all compliments that are happening here. And what you will notice is it's never a 10 out of 10. It's never a beaut of a woman. And believe you me, I've seen the women on our side of the fence and, you know, chef's kiss. None of them are complaining about anything like this. It's always the gargoyle looking creatures that are the ones that are like, oh, I can't believe you complimented me. That's because you don't get compliments normally because, you know, someone just felt a bit awkward, obviously, and we're like, nice to see you here. Every single time. And you'll see the ones that take the greatest offense to these things always not that great. On the low scales, there you have Drew Hardis there. Look at him. You know, that's just, to me, a picture paints 1,000 words, and that's just it there, really, isn't it? You know, there's Neil Richmond, you know, cabbage head. Look at the head on this fella. At the head. My God. And there he is down at the old Orange Order march. Mad, isn't it? I care about the Irish. You're off there looking at the rugby, you know, a lot of question marks around rugby and people that go to that as a spectator sport, you know, allegedly, respectively, you know. Tommy Tiernan had a good bit about them not too long ago about the rugby gang, didn't he? Anyway, poor old Tommy, finished now, finito. And this is what you've got now. You've got him into government now, substitute in there for Damien English. Oh my God, I can't believe the scandal of Damien English. What about the scandal of, you know, the companies now admitting that their stuff didn't work for the last couple of years? What about that? What about the segregation and discrimination that went on for the best part of a year? How about that? Want to talk about that? No, of course, you want to move on past that and pretend like the last couple of years didn't happen, but they did. And you need to be held very seriously accountable for that. And this is what you're saying. This is part of the grassroots movement. People now have been lied to, and they're fed up with the lies, and they want to blame it. Oh, these movements are happening because people are just showing anti-this and anti-that rhetoric. No, that's part of it. Part of it is because of that. But also, part of it is because people were lied to for so long. Here's a meme that was shared today. Now, obviously, take a swig there, guys. When it comes to these things, the meme is getting out there now, V-knock around. But look who's standing on my side, man. This was some sort of pound. I found the guys there. Listen, you could probably stand Kanye West over here. You could probably stand, who was it? You know, Satsal that's out there, Satirical Star. You could stand Philip Dwyer here. You could stand a variety of people here. And all of them would be people that you're like, should listen to them. Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Because that's all that this does. All this does is confirm to me that, I don't like, I don't like Andrew Tate. So you don't like their message and you think that they should be arrested and imprisoned for that. Well, that lets me know everything that I need to know about you guys and why you people are seriously dangerous. And why people that are out there striving for masculinity are striving for having a moral compass, because that's also something that's been severely lacking over the last number of years. People that don't stick by their principles, stick by their morals, and don't stick by what they actually think. And instead you see this bending and saying, oh, well, what can we do about it? Oh, you just have to go with it. No, you don't. No, you don't. Especially when it's so far from reality that you shouldn't have to go with it at all. People that want to just forget about the last couple of years. No, I want people held accountable. Very seriously held accountable. And this is what you're seeing with these types of memes here. It's an actual fail of a meme, because what it does is it just lets you know how these people view these two guys. And when you see that, you say to yourself, bingo, these guys are on the money and they're on the right side of history there. The other side aren't. Very clear and obvious to me. Let's keep moving through the stream. I hope you're enjoying it. You know, this is what I always like to say with these things. Now, I'm going to jump into this. I'm going to do a video on this because it just needs a little bit more explanation. But here's Jennifer here, and you've got this woman, speculative, that says this. Irish Examiner posted today, Irish teacher, did the state fail Enoch Burke when it allowed his parents educate? Okay, I'm going to answer this real simple. Yeah, they did not. And this person will freak out and be like, but you said yeah. No, I said, yeah, I didn't. Because here's the thing. The state has no place in trying to educate people, because the state has repeatedly shown you that they are not interested in educating people, and it's moving to something far more dangerous and sinister. It is moving towards groupthink on one level with one side, and that side been wrong every single time. And not only are they wrong, but they view questions as threats. They view a question and people asking said questions as a threat. Like, just to bring it back to this here, just to show you, right? There's one fella that has been in jail and another fella that's currently sitting in jail because of what they said. Now, people would say, oh, that's because of an investigation for a certain thing there in Romania, allegedly, respectively. But if they had something on them, they'd have something on them to be able to do something about it. They don't. What they're doing is they're just holding them there, hoping, oh, this fella's way too influential and we don't really like it. Don't like the message that he's giving out. That's what they're doing there. Same thing. You've seen goofballs, and there's plenty of them that are out there that are like, just lock Enoch up and throw away the keys because he disagrees with you, because it is a different opinion. And this is what's happening. This is why seeing articles like this are extremely dangerous, in my opinion, because what is going to happen going forward is you're just going to get one side of things and there's going to be no question. Could you imagine what it's like to be a skeptical person, particularly a skeptical child? You have parents, say, at home, and they're skeptical of what's going on. They know that the weather stuff is complete and utter tosh. They know what's been going on for the last couple of years has been complete and utter tosh. Could you imagine being forced into a place? And when I say forced into a place, because these people like this in the media were talking about traveller absenteeism and then people chasing up and getting tootlet involved and all that. Could you imagine being someone that's been forced into this place, being compelled to go into these places and listening to the drivel that you're listening for a couple of hours, and the fact that they want to put more and push more drivel into it? My thing is this: politics and stuff like that, and your personal preferences and your football teams and whatever like that should be left at the door. They shouldn't be being brought into these places. Absolutely not. And I'm saying that from both sides of the coin. But what's going to happen is, and what should possibly, probably, speculatively, allegedly happen, is you're seeing, as you've seen before, and I've told you before, this is a profession, by the way, that's over 80% female. So you've got a lot of agreeable individuals in there and some very disagreeable individuals, which is good. It needs more men in that profession, for sure, for absolute sure. And it needs be more based people, be for based. How would you like that? Because when you're seeing this type of rhetoric here, not good at all. Here's what happened a number of years ago. People were educated before they brought in this whole thing of like, oh my God, school's super duper important. The likes of exams are super duper important. And you've got the likes of third level education super duper important. Well, you and I both know that you had grandparents, maybe great grandparents, particularly great grandparents, that didn't attend school. Didn't attend it. Grew up, were taught by people at home, and then went off into the big bad world there and were very successful at it. A lot of them there, particularly the men and the women, were able to hold a home together, buy a home themselves, and were able to provide for families of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They were able to do that. And they would be classed now, which is absolutely appalling when you think about it. Oh my God, they had a limited education. Hang on. I know people that left school at 12 and grew up then to have a very successful trade and were very much so looked after them themselves because of that. There's people now, particularly older people, that are being told to view a trade as being something less than. You absolutely should not. You absolutely should not view a trade as less than. Absolutely not. If anything, you're probably the most important people in the country, because that's what the type of thing that they wanted to move towards now when it came to that. When they're saying, oh, you know, you can't leave school at 16. Oh, it's a bad idea. Boy, well, the longer that you're in there, they've showed that you're the likes of college studies now, the more of this stuff has been pushed upon you and the more impressionable you are. And then you've got then obviously a difference of opinion then. So if you're going to these things with people like this and they're telling you one thing and you're going home going, hang on here, your man over here that's been given some sort of point of authority, or your woman is saying this sort of stuff, and that's completely at odds. You know, again, this is what you got to look at, because these people are very happy to push their own thoughts and beliefs then upon others, particularly impressionable minds. But to just bring this then to a complete crunch, talking about worldviews here in this, and the difference between accepting the likes of the alphabet community or anything like that. This isn't the point. The point was he wasn't going to go along with someone else's false perception of reality, particularly that of a child. And I commend him for that. That is a man of morals and principles. And this person then is spouting over saying about his parents being allowed to teach him. Well, guess what? He holds a degree, and 7 out of 10 of the family currently hold PhDs. They didn't do too bad, did they? There's a solicitor there in the profession of, sorry, I should say that, I'll rewind there. There's a lady within the family that has the ability to be a solicitor, and she is a solicitor. You've got people there, like I think the brother, who's a very good speaker. I think Isaac is his name, and he's a very good speaker. He's a PhD in maths. There's others there with PhDs in science, outstanding stuff. And then Enoch Burke then himself as well has something like 3 subjects there that he can teach, particularly one being German and the others then being something, I think, history and geography perhaps. But 7 PhDs in a family there of 10, I think, from what I read there, isn't a bad number, is it? Now, can this person concretely say that that's something that they were able to do themselves? Maybe, maybe not. But what you'll see from these people in the media is an awful lot of jealousy. Oh my God, you're homeschooled. Well, guess what? This person's after obtaining a PhD and they were homeschooled. What does that say to you? And not only that, then they've shown you that they're not willing to buckle under societal pressure, which I think is awesome. It's absolutely fantastic because that's what people buckled under in the last couple of years. They buckled under societal pressure. Believe you me, I know people that went to me and said, I wouldn't have took any of that stuff that they were putting out there. I just wanted to go to the pub. You're a bottler. You buckled under societal pressure. The likes of me didn't. I wouldn't care what you did. And the thing was, if you were going to come to me and come to my door and cross my door and try and take me, that was never going to be an option. Never. And a lot of people also felt the very same way. And that's why the other gang blinked. So, did the state fail Enoch Burke when it allowed his parents to educate him? Look at how she looks now. So she went from looking like this. This is the image that they're using here. And she's talking about indoctrination. How she looked then. Look what she looked like now. You just have to look. Honest to God, the shaved head and all that. She doesn't look too well. Probably about 80 jabronis going on here. And this is what you've got now. Telling you, oh, he's not well adjusted. Oh, no. How can the family be allowed to educate him? He's done quite well in life, in my view. I tell you what, he's got more cojones than most of the people that are running around the doll, for sure. These people that are bending to the forum. Absolutely. I'd rather have that dude running the place there than the likes of the people that are bending to the forum. And then you've got this person here then that's giving some sort of opinion. Look at her. Mascara like Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, no, sorry. Alice Cooper. It's like Alice Cooper. Oh, my God. And then you see this here. And this is again how you know that these people are not for the good of yourself. Oh my God, can't believe that he was homeschooled. Oh my God, can't believe people that want masks on children. You know what I mean? You just have to go back. Again, receipts are super important. Irish teacher, asking children to wear a mask isn't abuse. It absolutely is. Considering they are at no risk. They are learning to care about their communities. And see, that's communism. That is communism. Because these people want you to just have the group think. And when I talk about caring about communities, this is how to use language, by the way. If you were caring about your community, you'd care about your community and saying, hang on here, these people are pulling a scam here, they're pulling a stroke, everyone needs to know that. Instead, what happened to those people that were pointing that out at the time, they were being called nutcases and they were being called conspiracy heads and tinfoil hat wearers. Now you're being asked as some sort of oracle as to what's going to happen next by a lot of these people that called you the same names. This is actually what's happening in my life. It's mental. It's crazy. But I'm telling you, caring about your communities. That's caring for your community to me, to be like, stroke been pulled over there, scam is going on over there. But this whole thing of like, wear the mask because it protects you and it protects others, that cares about community. No, it doesn't. They've actually told you now, and there's actually a very high level individual in the United States government that's telling you, yeah, no, those things don't work. Professor Carl Hennigan at the beginning of this told people, no, it's not going to work to the desired effect at all. And that was a meeting that people, specifically a Minister for Health, missed. Weird, isn't it? Weird how they missed these meetings. Very strange. They can take other meetings, but they missed that one. Weird. Jennifer Horgan says there's enough real child stuff out there. Stop framing mask wearing as something to be angry about. So there you go. That's Thursday, 9th of December, 2021. So not that long ago, was this person saying these type of things, and then it's like, your man there shouldn't be homeschooled, and then looks like that. You know what I mean? Again, like I said to you, every single time, guys, every single time. It's just it never fails to come up like that. I always come up looking roses here. You know what I mean? Breaking news: Ireland Green Party leader Eamon Ryan to get cycling Garda as personal protection officer. Can you imagine? Like, like a little Tour de France going around here with this fella. Absolutely hilarious. There's nothing more appealing than a Gardaí on a bike. They look absolutely ridiculous, don't they? They're absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe that was ever a runner here. I'm like, no way. No way that they got that running. They did. At least the ones going around on the horses, there's a bit of an appeal to and a bit of power to it, I suppose. But you see them cycling, huffing and puffing up and down the road there in the bike, you're just like, lads, come on. Could you imagine if anything went down? Quick, we need to get Eamon Ryan there around. How are we going to do it? Oh, I don't know. John has a flat tire there. What do we do? We're a man down. He's got a flat tire. What happened there? Oh, no, we locked the bike there on Parental Street there. There's had to be 4 thefts there in the last hour, and 3 of the bikes have to be taken. Isn't it incredible how they're able to find these things out real quick? I'm going to show you an article now in a moment that happened in town, like Maya Dunphy's handbag. They're able to find that really quickly, they were, but certain other things like, I don't know, a CCTV footage of people's bikes being stolen. No, I can't find the perpetrator of that there. That's strange. That's weird. You have this dude on camera. What about the people there that are out doing nasty things all around Dublin city centre? Nah, I can't find them at all. Maya Dunphy's handbag, though, will absolutely find that. Strange. Anyway, moving on. Irish mortgage lenders. This is also where you need to look at too. Look, I'll post stuff about Clown World and I'll talk about it and we have a laugh and I get the views for it. But this is really at the crux of what's going on, right? Irish mortgage lenders seek assurances from tech employers amid sector layoffs. So just to put this down to brass tacks of what's going to happen here, these people now are panicked because now they're like, the tech people are now going to be unemployed, which means there's not a significant amount of money flowing in. So what is going to happen from there? Here's what's going to happen. A lot of these people that are working in tech are economic migrants, so they've come across here because probably for there may or may not be tax reasons there, but definitely financially. Now they've been laid off. They've been laid off. What do they do next? Well, where's the job? That's in Cologne there in Germany. Off there, boom, gone. So that means then that the mortgage then, bang, it's finished. And these people are like, yeah, we're gone, we're selling up here now. So that creates a problem on the housing market then. But what also happens is the money that would have been flowing into the bank then not going to be flowing in there anymore from those people. So now that these people have to turn and look at people, for example, in jobs that are, we say, lesser paying, that's not what they want to do. So what is going to happen? Well, we're going to put rates up across the board to basically take the money that we've lost away from the tech sector that would have been giving us money. And look, you're seeing global corporations do this now, like even Hasbro today. Listen, this is a wild channel, by the way. Sometimes I'll be talking about action figures and entertainment. You'll be looking at being like, Tom Ninja talks about Ireland. We'll talk about different things because sometimes you need to just have a break. These things. It gets low views, but I don't mind. You know what I mean? I'd rather throw out videos sometimes that I find entertainment in than something else, Anyway, going back on topic. You've got, say, something like 10% of the workforce there at Hasbro, a multi-billion-dollar company, being laid off, and the prices of their stuff is just going up and up and up because what they're thinking is, well, the people that are still buying into our products are going to keep buying the products and we can do without these people over here. These have become superfluous. A lot of them as well, too, are superfluous because there's a lot of them that are in there that are posting up, what does Jane in HR do? Jane in HR is actually responsible for putting up the brackets around people's names and saying he, him after and they, them. Yeah, no, Jane can go there. Jane's laid off. Jane's done. Can Jane code? No. What can Jane do? Not very much. Does she know anything about the brands? No. Does she know who the top Transformers are? No. Does she know who the top Power Rangers are? No. Jane can go. So that's what's happening. And that's what's happening in these places as well. The tech sector is getting laid off now big time. This is something that's not been talked about at all. They're mentioning it in the media, but the repercussions that have a massive effect upon Ireland now are just going to be seen in the next year or two. This is why this has all been prepared for you by the likes of the government when they're saying, oh, 2023 is going to be a rough year, guys. Yeah, because all of the people that you've decided to invite into the place, and this is where the difference is between people and the government. When you decide to bring someone into the country because they specifically have a skill that's not here in Ireland or can be taught in Ireland, people look at it and they go, fair enough. But when you bring in people that haven't got a skill and they're just lounging about, and then people of particular and possible use are moved on, and you're shoving these people into where those people just lived, that's when people have a problem, because then they're saying, hang on here for a second, my mortgage rate is after Dublin there, and this person that's after coming into the country after 4 months has been given a free gaff. Hang on here now for a sec. And that's going to just keep going and going and going. It's going to keep building and building and building. To me, it's moved faster than would have ever seen before. That's why you're starting to see the media come out and trying to push people back and be like, oh, we're concerned big time about these people. You probably should be, because what's going to happen is next election rolls around, it's going to be difficult for you when you've got people that have massive streams that are out there, for example, and have massive followings, and then you're telling them, oh no, that person didn't win the election in the area. Okay, who did? Paul Murphy, possibly, particularly speculatively, allegedly. Well, it doesn't seem like he's getting much support there at all. Which political party is Philly McMahon going to go to? It doesn't seem like he's getting a lot of support there. And this is why people, let's say, for example, in Ballymun, and I'll keep advocating this, a person should be stepping up in each area. That's my particular belief. That's on the wavelength that we're on. And they should be the ones saying, I'm standing up for this area and I'm going to run for election. I'm going to clean this area and I'm going to clean what's going on. And you just have to look at what's going on in America. And I use America because it's an easy one to look at. Look at what happened with the Speaker of the House situation there with them. That boiled down to 4 to 5 people within that party that held that for something like, it was 3 or 4 days, I think it was. Might have been longer, might have been shorter than that. But 5 people held it because they held out. And the dude that's the Speaker is only Speaker in name only, because these people said, no, we won't be voting you in until we get assurances about this, this, and this. And they've gotten their assurances and they're starting to work on that. That's exactly the same thing that needs to be happening here, because that's how you do things. You're seeing bill after bill be fired through. We're going to look at one now in a moment from the likes of Simon Harris, and nothing coming from the other side. Nothing coming from them about ceasing any of these people have been brought into the country. Nothing coming in about them like rapidly deporting people out of the place. Nothing about that. Absolutely nothing. Nothing about travel bans or anything like that from certain places. Nothing at all. But what's going on though is there's loads of energy for telling the Irish, listen, you can't be saying that. We can't be pointing out the obvious. Let's not have you on these different types of platforms. Why? Because you're asking questions and pointing out what's going on. Well, that's obviously where your heart is at, and theirs ain't in that at all. The Smith Irish teacher stands outside school for a second day amid Transformers row. Teacher Enoch Burke was standing in the rain outside the school after being denied entry. He had been arrested the day before for trespass, which he claims was blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's what's going on with this one. Sky is reporting this as a Transformers row. Weird, isn't it? That's weird. Wonder if the left would be on to Sky and saying, it's not actually because of that. Well, when it boils down to it, and when we just wash everything away, that's what it's up to. No, it's because he broke a court order. Law and Order is back on, is it, after the last 2 years? Were you someone that supported the last 2 years and what they were up to there? Oh, you were? Oh, okay. That's why you're calling people like me stupid and conspiracy theories and all that like that. That's cool. That's grand. Because all you're showing me is that you have to go to a personal attack, which I'm happy to respond with. You have to go to a personal attack because you know that you're caught out. And you're caught out very quickly. So there you go. Sky, fair play to them. More people are starting to take notice of Dublin Sprint. Can't even get through it. Dublin Sprinter Razidat Kelekele. It sounds like something from Team America. Anyway, that's a haughty Irish name, isn't it? That's a very native Irish name. Parents are Nigerian, both of them. So to me, Nigerian. And there's people that are behind this individual in the running. Pardon the pun there. That would have been there before, that would have actually been representing Ireland, and yet then you're being brought through this. She was born in Dublin. That's called the magic soil theory, is it not? And see, here's the difference, and here's the thing. If I went to Nigeria and decided to be with a white woman and have a child, and then I said, no, they're Nigerian, it'd be laughed out of the place. Now, I know that for a fact because I know people from Nigeria who've told me that. I know that also as well, too, from being to the likes of different countries, where if you said all of a sudden, oh no, I'm 100% one of these, they go, what? No, you're not. Absolutely not. You'd always be looked at as being from somewhere else. 100%. If you decide to roll up to America and say, I'm an American citizen, I'm American now, and you had an accent like mine, they'd look at you and be like, no, you're not. You're right. Now, again, you can point back at them and say, listen, yeah, the Native Americans, they're the real Americans. You're just blow-ins as well. And have a laugh about it. But this is what I'm saying to you. And as I said, in America, they'll always revert back to that. And I mean, it'd be the same with these people. These people will all do the same thing. I am actually Nigerian Irish. I'm African Irish. No. You're either African or you're Irish, and you're not Irish anyway, from my estimation. But keeping a spot as well, too, from someone that would have normally been there. And you'll see this across athletics eventually. The whole athletics team, and it'll be something that people will eventually point out, the whole athletics team will be very continent specific is what I'm saying. And you're seeing more people. I'm getting a lot of British people in particular that are commenting on the channel and being like, listen, mate, we've had this all happen to us before. It's happening to you now. And this is exactly here now. Oddly enough, a couple of people from Australia have been saying, the way you guys view Nigerians, that's the way we view the Irish. Officials looking at scam regulation to get more teachers. What's the answer to this? Higher pay, make it more attractive, bring people home from the likes of Dubai and various other places? No. What is on hand is bring foreigners in and get them to do the job. Okay, that's great. So you're going to undermine the profession. That's fantastic. And what's going to happen from there? Well, these people are going to be happy to work for whatever, and we can lower that then as well. So coming soon to the Gardaí, to the Gardaí. It's coming soon, guys, because I'm telling you, what they're going to do is they're going to tell you that they need diversity and inclusion. They're already in the media telling you that. And you've got loads of these people, particularly young men, floating around. Philly McMahon believes that those young men are the scouts. They're actually the scouts there, for the family. What an absolute nutty statement that's been made there. That was supposed to be the women and the children, wasn't it? Does it not make more sense? Does it not also look bad then upon those fellas? They're the scouts, are they? How come they're the ones to set up, and how come they're not standing and defending where they're from? But the women and children were left there, were they? Anyway, my stance is this. Nobody should be let into the country. And I'm seeing some people out there that are like, listen, it's only women and children we want in. No, none of them. Absolutely none of them. Because I'm telling you this now, in the clown world that we live in now, and how they fill out forms, you can have fellas that roll into town that would be saying, oh no, I identify as a woman. And their clown show will go, yeah, come on in there now. Yeah, absolutely. I identify as a child. And again, they'll roll them in. Yeah, no problem. So nobody. That would be my thing. If I was sitting in the doll and I had a bill going forward, I'd be like, ban them all, travel bans, nobody in there. And in the meantime, set up the deportation force to go out and make sure then that these people were removed from the country, lickety split, and send them to the likes of Rwanda. I mean, the Brits had a good idea on that one. Fair play to them on that. Cracking idea. Oh, you're going to come over here on dinghies, are you lads? Well, off to Rwanda you go if you want to come here. And they went, oh, bad idea. What's wrong with Rwanda? I thought you said that the likes of the continent in Africa is very rich and it's very appealing. You said it's beautiful. A lot of people that support it say the same. Weird. Anyway, this is what's going to happen now in multiple jobs. We need more diversity. Yeah, the only reason why you're doing that is that because you want to just bring the living wage down for each of these professions. And these professions, by the way, are too stupid to see that. They're like, oh yeah, bring them in. We're under threat. But sure, you're looking at them all emigrating to the likes of Dubai and that because the money isn't good. That's you want. You think it's going to be fixed by bringing in people from elsewhere? Oh, I'll tell you what. The stupidity, and that's why I like Satirical Soldier's video so much. I just love how frank he is. He's just like, you're dealing. I think in the recent video, he was like, you're dealing with stupid babies. I was like, yeah, you're right on that one. Absolutely right. Householders unknowingly subsidised. This is another massive thing that's going on that's absolutely atrocious. And this isn't getting any sort of talk really whatsoever. Householders unknowingly subsidised big businesses' electricity bills for more than disclosed 600 million. Guys, this is outrageous. And there's a video incoming on this, because I'm telling you what, like the fact that that's going on just tells you everything you need to know, guys. Householders unwittingly subsidised big businesses' electricity bills for 12 years. Are the cost even higher than the 600 million previously disclosed? So the lies, is that what you're saying was told? That is so shocking. Pardon the pun. Pardon the pun. That's shocking. that this has happened. I can't believe that these organizations have told allegedly speculatively lies. It's beyond me. But this is shambolic stuff here. And this just goes to show you everything you need to know about how prices that you're paying are completely out there. You see guys like this standing up here, and I would absolutely ask you to do this when you see the likes of the Greens. Now, I don't know anybody that votes for them. I've never met anybody that votes for them. I've seen people canvassing for them who are paid, allegedly, speculatively, to canvass for them. And none of these people, none of them, especially when they canvass and I speak to them, I'm like, any is interested in the likes of solar power or power from like hydrogen. And they're like, and I'd say, yeah, how about looking into that there, hydro-powered cars and stuff like that, you know? How about that? We have an abundance there of water. You know, you just want to charge us for it, and we're on an island, you know, that's surrounded by water. But hydro-powered cars, good idea. Why do they not want that? No money in it. They all want to push people towards electricity. Oh, the electricity stoves, electricity cars, electricity this, electricity that, because they know then they have people by the goolies. Because they'll say, well, I'll tell you what, we're just going to up the price there, and you've no option there other than the electricity. This is where you're starting to see people exit the market. This Argos thing, by the way, has been talked about not nearly enough. Argos is a pretty major company, and they're like, yeah, our retail outlets are not viable to keep open. Why not? Well, we're not making money. That's a big problem when you've got a massive chain like that that's deciding to pull out of a country. Now, I'm not just saying they've decided to pull out of a country and it's like, we've 3 or 4 stars. Think about how many Arguses are dotted around the country. There's loads of them. And that company has made a decision to whip the entire profession of them out of the country. And that's just the beginning. Because now what's also happening, and just to let you know, they're actually minimizing where you can get things from. And that is what needs to be looked at next. Because if you're minimizing where you can get something from, you're showing and supporting, and you're also then creating a monopoly. And it's the same with the energy regulators as well too, and certainly with the energy businesses. You're seeing them start to shrink. Look at the banks. A bank deciding to pull out of a country. It's unheard of. Unheard of. And they've done it. They're like, Bank of Ireland, KBC and all that. You know, we're looking for people to switch accounts and stuff like that. And then you're seeing the panic then from the other side, which is they're going, people that have closed their bank accounts over here haven't opened one up anywhere else. What's going on? But why more people are using cash? So I think people are starting to obviously ask that of their employer now. No, I want to check, or I want to be paid in cash, whatever it might be. And that's potentially the way going forward. Now, I think, again, that would be the way a lot of people could look at things as well. And they could say, well, I want to be paid with a check, or I want to be paid in cash, and whatever means it might be, but not go through a bank then. That starts ending the point. That starts ending the cat amongst the pigeons. But this is absolutely outrageous here. And the fact that this is going on, and they want to talk about, for example, now I'm just saying, all of the media are very hyped up about what's going on with Enoch Burke, but this has also been slipped out at the same time. So again, I know people are starting to ask questions as well. And I mean, look, I'd probably be one person that would be asking questions in relation to the Enoch Burke thing, because there's been a couple of times where, like, I think it was the week before last, where he was told by the judge, look, if you don't turn up, in essential terms, I'm just going to talk here, and very candidly, he was told, listen, if you don't turn up, you probably, to me, it seemed like he was inferring that the likelihood of him getting an injunction against the disciplinary meeting was very strong. And then he kept turning up. So, it'd have to be a fly on the wall in there, because we're only getting tidbits of information. But to me, I'm looking at that being like, right, that'd have been a simple thing to do. Would have kept his job, wouldn't have this sort of stuff going on here. The media are turning up every single day then to photograph him. That's obviously strange. And to me, then, this has been slipped out, and there's like, I was talking about that, nearly a biddy been taken here by this guy. Happy days. We're talking about something else. You know what I mean? And that's the way I look at it. As I said, putting up the videos about different people are important, but this is huge. That's a massive story. I can't undersell that, or should say oversell that enough. RD seal off area near Lewis stop after alleged assault. Inbound Lewis platform had to be closed following the alleged assault in South Dublin this morning. A lot of allegations been made surrounding that. Still yet to come to what actually happened there. Now, anytime you see this, and just to give you the heads up, when the media put out things like this and there's no immediate follow up, you can bet your bottom dollar it's not something that they want to promote. So this is why citizen journalism. That's why the media and the likes of Guardian and security at the likes of City West were panicked when Philip Dwyer went down, because they're like, oh, here's someone that's actually going to ask questions. It's going to paint a picture of what's actually happening versus what we can do, which is we can spin a narrative and then say, like, that didn't work out, so we'll just move on. I mean, again, like I said, look at the Ashton Murphy stuff. They found out who was the alleged attacker there, and they're like, shh, don't talk about that anymore. You might. This is where they went towards. They had it as a talking point throughout the entire nation. They did for the best part of like 3 or 4 days, and then they were like, we apprehended someone that's pretty. We've got good evidence, allegedly, speculatively on, but it doesn't fit the narrative. So let's stop talking about it. Otherwise, we might put the trial in jeopardy. Sure, everyone knows about it now. Everyone knows. So why not continue talking about it? Because it doesn't fit your narrative. So again, you also see then here, mystery continues as to why no arrest after man hospitalised after being dib-dabbed in broad daylight in Dublin city centre on Thursday afternoon. Now, allegedly, speculatively, Algerians, allegedly, speculatively. So I'm telling you this, right? And I'll speak very candidly to you now. You need to understand and know how to defend yourself. You also need to make sure you have the means to defend yourself. And women in particularly, I'm speaking to you, you should look up, and I very seriously mean this, you should look up what you are legally allowed to possess in the likes of a handbag and when you go out, because it is terrible to say, but it is the reality of the situation. You are now unsafe in this country due to the fact of what the government have done. You are unsafe in this country because the Gardaí aren't interested in apprehending and stopping it. They're not interested at all. So you need to have the means to defend yourself. And when you see videos, and I see them often coming from the likes of America, and you see women with pepper spray, for example, not always does it work, but it is a very, very strong deterrent. And it is also used, and it has saved women's lives. Ladies, look into that very seriously. And I mean that, and I mean this is for your safety, particularly because it is better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it, in my opinion. So look into that and see what you think about that. And these are the type of things that you need to be keeping an eye out for in the likes of the city centre. And I'm saying this now in all seriousness, fellas included, ladies and lads, walking around the city centre with the likes of earphones on, done, over, finished. Don't do that. Absolutely do not do that, because that is what you're assuming to be now a city that is akin to Gotham, where there's rampant stuff going on around it and people that do not care. And now you're starting to see the media portray these people now that have arrived into these shores. Oh no, they're on the streets now. Do you not think now that those people that have arrived here legally won't do anything else? You can bet your bottom dollar that that's the possibility. So I would urge you to be extremely safe and very aware of your surroundings at all times. And this is what I'm talking about here. Now, these fellas don't fit the profile of what has come from Ukraine. They don't fit the profile of what was on their ethnicity polls not too long ago. So, I'll just sleep on the street. International protection applicants face night in the streets. Deport would be what I would do there. These fellas don't fit the profile at all. But yeah, they're happy to linger around. Not good. You're also going to see this, and this is what I kind of inferred towards the start. What I would ask you to do is, after this, have a look at San Francisco. Have a look at some of the videos from modern day San Francisco. You'll be shocked. It is tent city. It is like Cape Town, but with tents. And that's exactly what's going to happen here now. Why do you think they're talking about the Phoenix Park and getting rid of the likes of the deer? You've got people that are all about the animal welfare and they're talking about getting rid of the deer entirely. Why would they do that? Because they want to shove people into the place. And tents are being... I mean, I've walked through many an area in Dublin and I've seen tents in places. And look, I'll be very sympathetic, particularly to our own that have fallen on hard times and they're in a tent and they're living somewhere. But what you're going to see is you're going to see a myriad of people in tents that are clearly at odds with each other and are going to be at odds with us that are going to be living in these tents, and you don't know who or what's going to be around you. And those people will shack up wherever they want. And then you have the old do-gooders that will be like, well, if they're there for more than 24 hours, it's squatters' rights and they have every right to be there. No, I don't think so. If it's our own, different ball game there in my view. But if it's someone that's coming in, you don't know nothing about them and they're up to no good, they're up to shenanigans, nah. But this place, Dublin City Centre, will become like San Francisco. And I urge you, have a look at what's going on in San Francisco. There was a video that came out that went sort of viral a week or two ago of an old fella, an old white fella, of course, and what looked to me to be some sort of individual that looked like she was from a country, allegedly Romania, but more so like the football team in Italy, Roma. And this guy was just standing there with a hose and he was hosing her. And she was, and he's like, get out, go away, outside the shop or whatever like that. Do you think it's attractive to be having someone sitting outside the shop that's doing all sorts of negativity and then it's dirty in the street and that like that? So your man's like there with the house. Who do you think was the one that they all got upset with all night? They got upset with the fella at the house. it's absolutely mental. But this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this sort of stuff now. And I'm telling you, there's more and more people now that are in big games that are starting to walk away from it. You know, they really are. Hoteliers and everything. You're starting to see them going, not for me, I'm out. Breaking news, Ireland says, you best believe we are watching carefully and discreetly. This is from the Independent. Gardaí keep close eye on the far right as extreme stoke anger online and on the streets. Okay. Weird thing to lead with, guys. Considering the left-hand side have been cheering and joyfully looking forward to babies in the future of Ireland being taken away. And through means that would haunt even the toughest of men. And they hunt women, best believe that, because I know plenty of women as well that have gone through with certain procedures and they are not right after that. They are not the same. And nor, in my view, could you be, particularly after that. But this is what's going on here. So the media are working with higher ups now that are saying things like that. You see what's happened in Philip Dwyer's stream there. You've seen what's happened over the last couple of years. No arrests been made as well too of politicians. No arrest been made of Luke O'Neill, who admitted on News Talk's YouTube channel that he was involved or had something to do with talking to the American government, allegedly, respectively. I mean, it says it on the thing, about the monkeying around stuff not too long ago. This is also a guy that's been regularly wrong on what he's done. So at best has just made an honest mistake, and at worst has been involved in some of the most heinous things that have ever occurred and have happened in this country. So it would warrant an arrest and investigation, in my opinion, amongst the likes of the media and politicians. But none of that seems to be happening, despite the overwhelming evidence to support that what was divvied out amongst people in the last year didn't work, and it also was causing issues. So that's why I look to the likes of the woman there in Nackle Island that is looking to talk about her son, who was 14 years of age, no longer with us, and the various other people that are out there, and the sudden case of the suddenlies on the last while, specifically with young people and heart attacks with young people. I mean, to me, it's as easy as looking at the nose in your face in the mirror that as to what's going on. And so, to me, more people should be speaking out about it, but there's also a sense of denial that's out there that people that have taken it have decided to put their heads in the ground and say, that's not going to happen to me, it's not going to happen to me. You can do that all you want. You can do it all you want. And you're just acting like a child now, because what you're doing is you're pretending like a child would when they're young. Oh, it's not going to happen to me. I'll cover my eyes. I can't see that. No, it's very much so something you should be concerned about. And to me, again, people need to be held accountable for that. But no interest in viewing what Luke O'Neill is doing, no interest in viewing and doing anything about what Leo Varadkar's doing, or any of the people that were in parties in the government that are getting involved with the forum in Switzerland. No interest in that. But big interest in standing outside City West to prevent Irish people from going in and finding out what's going on. So it's become like this regularly, again and again and again and again and again, collectively have chosen the wrong side. And now you're seeing talk being floated out there about body cams, about arming, like people that are out. Nah, No was the answer to that one. Absolutely not. No way. So this is where you need people that have a bit of common sense and that know what's going on in the Gardaí to start talking in their stations. Listen, you're going to be a pariah. You're going to be someone that's going to be sat there in the likes of the staff room, people grumbling about you and looking at you and giving you eyes and stuff like that. But you need to be talking to these people and telling them exactly what's going on. Seriously. And this is the thing, when I look at these things like this, I decide that's great stuff because these people are looking at the videos, they're looking at the streams, happy days. Because for every goon that's in there that believes full in on what they've been told for the last couple of years, there might be a couple of people that are there that are going, this person has their eye on the ball here. They know what's going on. You know what I mean? And that's what I certainly hope, that things like this, you know, not particularly mine, but particularly with videos and stuff like that, I hope people are looking at it and going, yeah, that makes sense there. That doesn't also make sense then as to why that person is saying what they're doing. Like, I mean, the Philly video, the Philly No Mates one. Like, okay, yeah, you want people wheeled into the country. Well, here's an incident that occurred in Talbot Street. They ain't talking about that. Here's the amount of people that are coming into the country and they ain't from the blue and yellow place, they're from everywhere else. And some with very, very high numbers that have just flooded the place real quick. So, again, like I said, there's a breakdown in what's going on, and that's why you're seeing the media and higher social status individuals starting to scramble towards trying to wrestle back the narrative, but it's done. And listen, I know there's people out there in uniform for sure that have listened in on, streams and videos, and they've worked at these protests allegedly spectacularly, and they agree with what's going on at these things. I think fundamentally there's a lot of people out there that do agree with it, but it's the lack of action, it's the cowardice that's holding them back. I mean, like I said, what's wrong with being someone that's going to be looked at in some sort of way in the likes of the job? Who cares? You're better off having a very clear idea as to who's surrounding you rather than not. Do you know what I mean? Because at one point in time, you're going to say something that someone's going to turn on. I mean, even the Enoch stuff, that's an eye opener and should be an eye opener for you. Anyone that's belittling them and taking the mick out of it and not taking it seriously at all for what's happening to them, but want to ignore the likes of the Cheek and McCamden stuff, that's someone that you need to be keeping a very close eye on, because that's where it's at. You know what I mean? Anytime I see an article like that, I would just laugh. 360,000 homeowners. To me, you could probably double that now, because, to be fair, with the likes of the independent or in the media, they always underplay it rather than saying, like, this is legitimately the answer here. Because if more and more people said, yeah, no, we're not into this here, then they've got a big problem. 360,000 homeowners submit local property tax values below revenues estimates. Why would anybody that's living in an area, particularly in a working class area, submit something where you've actively driven down not only the prices in the area, but the standard in the area? Why would someone view their house at an extortionate rate that's going to actually hit them in the pocket versus what actually is the value of it? And coming back to it, this local property tax thing is an absolute scam, in my opinion, and I think it is pure and utter theft, in my opinion. And I think most people would agree with that, because here's another thing that was just reached into people's pockets without them looking for it at all. And what has been given back? Less corpo fellas going around Dublin. I don't know particularly about the likes of the countryside. I do know that there's certain corporations, county councils and stuff there. But in Dublin, what's going on here? Oh, you've got people in yellow vests that are going around on a Sunday morning doing all the jobs that people that would have been paid for in the corporations do that. Look, on the baseline, I think, agreement here, not everybody would like it, because I think we pay far too much tax anyway, and it has been clearly evidenced over the last couple of weeks. Only in the last couple of weeks, you could say in the last number of decades, but definitely in the last few weeks, where they're like, 83 billion collected here, 3 billion we can send off there to bring people in, 1 billion we can send off there as foreign aid, whatever that means. Now, we know what that means. That means, like, you're out laundry and stuff like that, allegedly, speculatively. And then you see things like this, where people are struggling to get a home and then are being grifted out of their money to be spent on bringing people and purchasing them a home. That's what that's about. And in the whole situation, is there any corpo around? No, they've done away with those fellas and ladies. They've done away with the fella that's coming around and tending to the area and keeping it nice. Done away with them. You don't see them around anymore. So what is that for? What's the purpose of it? Because it's serving no purpose. It just seems. And I mean, again, to me and you, If someone came up to you in the street and said, give me money, and you said, for what? And you just looked at them and said, no, just give me money. What am I going to get from that? Nothing. Well, okay, you're a mugger. That's what you are. You're mugging me because you're trying to take money off me that doesn't belong to you, nor do I want to give to you. Because, again, it's not my choice to give it to you. No, give me the money or else. That's a threat. You know what I mean? And that's what's starting to be looked at. And again, pointing back to Satirical Soldier's video there yesterday, he's talking about refugee, and he's absolutely correct. And this is something that he articulated very well. The word refugee has been used, and it's an umbrella term now for everything. You know, humanitarian, this person's asylum seeker, and all that. No, it means completely different. But this is what they're left out to change things. Also, charity is a charitable donation. Hang on here for a sec. When you were doing things like this isn't a donation, nor is it charitable, nor is it something that people want to do. This is, in my opinion, flat out theft. It gets me hot under the collar, listen. Can't be honest with you there. Thousands tuned out of RTAs, the Tommy Tiernan show, amid joke controversy. People tuned out after the apology. I said, yeah, dorts. Because this was something like, at the time, I think, was it a week ago? Maybe over a week ago now, that he made the apology. Yeah, it was over a week ago that he made the apology. And then people tuned out. Well, to me, it was a very simple thing that happened there. People looked either at my video or saw that article themselves and said, I'm not looking at him now. Just caved, just bent a knee. And now, did you hear that after? She was looking for a public apology. So she got an apology off him privately and then was like, I think she should make a public statement. You see, Tommy now, whether he's involved in it or whether he just misinterpreted it and didn't understand, what these people do is it's never enough. She's now crying about ism on Twitter, and I mean this sincerely. I have seen posts that she put up there, and they are the most milquetoast complaints and rebuttals of what she's done that I've probably ever seen. And she's calling people ists and saying it's ism and all that. It is a wild stretch that she's making about that. I'll probably make a video about it. I don't know. Let me know in the chat or something like that if you'd be interested in seeing that, because it is unbelievable stuff that these people are just using to advance themselves. And this is something that she's very keenly aware of. She's like, I'm not advancing myself. Okay, so how come Erica Cody did something similar? How come Denise Shoyle did something similar? It always seems to swing one way. It seems to be certain individuals. It's really weird, that is, isn't it? We also start to see it in America. Well, we've seen it in America. Seen it in the UK as well. You know, very clear. Housing crisis, Ireland, everything the crisis, you know. The crisis. Listen, the word crisis is supposed to be used when there's actually a credible world-ending thing. You know, this is why I like comic books and stuff like that. You've got the Justice League, and they had a crisis. And you're like, okay, right, the world is going to end here. What's happening? Darkseid is invading these, and the world has to step together, and they have to stop Darkseid. All right, that's an actual crisis. What's happening? The Flash went back in time and it's out there causing a big problem. What's going to happen? It's going to basically Marty McFly loads of people out of it. Oh, that's a crisis. It's 100% a crisis. Oh my God, there's a housing crisis. No, there's not. What there's a problem with is letting people into the place that have no skills and letting them lounge about and giving them free stuff. That's what the crisis is. You've also got, when I mean saying using crisis now, using their words, you've got a border issue. That's a significant issue that they all want to say, oh, you're an istophobe. See, this is what's happened now. Ireland has come after the curve, Ireland has come after the curve of when they could get away with saying you're an istophobe and all of that, and you're far this and far that. That's 3-4 years ago, when people may have taken it as a bit of a, back off now. Nah, not anymore. And not at the level things are at now. People are looking at it going, if I'm not being called one of these things, then I ain't doing a good job, because I am not pointing out enough for people. I'm not showing them what's going on. Now, again, as everybody knows, everyone knows, and they hear it regularly on these streams and different videos now, people saying, oh, I'm not in this. There's no need for you to say that. There's absolutely no need for you to say that, because everybody knows that you aren't. Because what's happened is they use the word like the likes of ist and ism and all that. They've belittled it. They've overused it so much that in its basic terms, it doesn't mean what it used to mean. Absolutely not. A critique, a criticism, a rebuttal is considered ism nowadays by these people. And this is what's happening when these individuals have been, I would say, indoctrinated into believing one worldview. That's why Kanye West should be someone that community in particular look to, because he's the guy that's waving the flag and being like, hang on here, guys, these people are selling you bad stuff, and it's all been led one way. As an aside, if you're on Twitter, have a look at the account called Fight Haven. Now I'm telling you, scroll through that and you'll make a very uh, you'll make a very quick observation as to who is perpetrating a lot of the material that's on that. And this type of material is in England now, and it's happening there where people are being jumped, and they're being jumped by multiple people. And there's a very common denominator amongst each video. All I'm saying, it just seems to be each and every video seems to be boom, 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 boom. And the same will occur here. Because this is the way they're educating. Well, when I say educating, indoctrinating these people, this is why they're using these people to say, "Oh, this is you're being treated like this, and you are owed reparations." Whoa, hang on here. You've come from a country there where the lads are living in mud huts, and then you're coming across here. You're getting iPads. You're getting a freak out the best of clobber on that, and you're telling people that have nothing to do with what you're talking about that you want reparations. No is the answer to that one, and what you're setting up for yourself is an issue that's going to be very easy to respond to because you still have the likes of the accents. You see, in America, it's gone too long where they're like, we don't know our own language or anything like that anymore. Meanwhile, you've got people that are arriving into the place being like, I need this. You seen the guy in the video there yesterday? Did you see him standing in the public office and he was shouting abuse at two women behind it, and he said very naughty things. None of the mainstream media talking about that at all. Wonder if that fella was apprehended. But these type of things been perpetrated constantly and just been overlooked. It's nothing to do with it. I think the channel Tiernan now put it up there. So if you haven't seen that, have a look at that video. Absolutely wild stuff. Thousands of planned apartments will never get built. So there you go. These are things that I called a while ago. Clondalkin Duo. Where do you think they're from? Would it be a part of a certain community there at all? I would say so. Clondalkin Duo charged with stealing 13 diamond rings worth 80 grand from Sligo jewellers. At least 7 asylum seekers told there is no state accommodation on City West closure. Weird, isn't it, that these people keep turning up and they don't seem to fit the profile of people from the blue and yellow flag waving country. Liffey Valley staff to take the streets of Dublin and protest at parking charges. I said, if you didn't go to work and the shops didn't open, they changed their tune. It's very simple to me. Staff report toxic atmosphere and clash of cultures at Spiriton Run Secondary School in South Dublin. Temple Oak College at centre of staff grievances, including taking down of pride flag in school canteen. It's not a boys' school that this sort of stuff is occurring in, and wouldn't you know it, it is women involved in this here. I can probably determine what they look like without even seeing them. Bank of Ireland to impose second mortgage rate rise, but deposit rates up too. So there you go. They're going to just keep going, and people are just seemingly just still paying. You're going to get a lot of people that are going to now start talking about that too, and you're going to see lots of people widespread say we're not paying that. The Brits did that in the UK with the energy. They're like, all right, guys, we are going to come to the 30th of October. We ain't paying the electricity bill, and loads of them did, and the electricity supplier had to be like, can't raise the price anymore. So think of that as you will. Hard to bring forward Garda body camera legislation. I'm telling you now, if you're involved in anything, public place, very interesting. Couldn't stop the tears or panic when I saw my electricity bill was almost 10k. Now I face losing my home. So this is a person there with a business. Have you been talking about the likes of the last couple of years where you're letting people in that weren't wearing the masks, where you weren't letting people in that were not interested in the Voldemort passport stuff? These are all very pertinent questions that I'm not asking. I strongly feel that we won't come back home. Ukrainians planning on a future in Ireland. The idea of a refugee, though, is to go home when it's all sorted, though. No, not for these people. That's strange. Thought you'd love the homeland. No, it seems not. So anyway, Google cuts will have some impact on Ireland. As Coveney, that means there's going to be a lot of cuts here in Ireland. Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment, Simon Coveney, has said that Google's recent announcement of 12,000 job cuts globally will have some impact on Ireland. Seriously, they're going to have a serious problem. As an aside, I've seen the Daily Wire and what's been going on with Crowder. It's been pretty interesting. What do you think that is a thumbnail, guys? Not bad, sure it wasn't. This is Talbot Street. A video coming on this very soon. I'm going to start wrapping up the stream soon, so I'm just letting you know. Giving you a bit of forewarning. Oh, by the way, will people drop comments either down below or in the chat and let me know if the podcast that I'm going to be doing, if you would like it to have a video with it. I don't know much about podcasts, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm all new to these things. Will you let me know if you want the video with it or if it's just the audio? I know that Eric Blake was saying to me, podcast would be great, be able to listen to it. And I'm not sure if he wants the video with it. And I mean, listen, I'm asking everybody, is what I'm saying. I might put a poll up about it on YouTube and see what people think, because I don't know whether it's, look, I'm getting away from what I'm going to talk about here. I don't know whether it's what people want, whether a video or whether it's just audio, but let me know. This happened in Talbot Street.
What are you doing taking pictures of child? Sorry. What are you doing? Just for me. Why are you doing pictures of child? He's after taking a picture of a child. Yeah, exactly. I do it. Who are you taking pictures of? You can't be taking pictures of my child. You make dumb.
So the video cuts off there. It does a couple of things to note in the video that I've said in the video, and my own video is the security guard. You know, this guy in the first place, right? Whenever I see someone with themselves all zipped up like this, like Michael Myers or something like that, in a place like this where it's usually warm, alarm bells usually, you know. And the second thing is, he then said the picture was for me, right, which opens up some very serious questions. But also the fact that he immediately went to that then, oh, it's just for me. What do you mean you? Like, is there a group? And this is what people do, by the way, in these type of things, allegedly, respectively. They take a photo, which we're hearing more and more about, by the way, here in Ireland, and people, particularly kids, been taken then. Oh, come here, come over here. Your mommy said they can go home with you. And then they're lifted and people go, sure, where are they gone? So why would you be taking a picture of someone else's child to begin with? That's extremely creepy and extremely sinister. And in the same token, what do you mean only you? Does that mean that you've taken pictures of other kids and they have been for more than you? What does that mean? But security guard in this as well too also.
Just for me. Why are you doing?
There's security guard there, as you can see. You know, not really, you know, light on his feet or anything there at all, really, you know, to deal with this here. And you can see, and well, you can see the woman, you can hear the woman get more frantic and realize as to what's going on. Now, obviously, I'm not going to make any sort of comment as to, you know, what I would do in that certain situation. But no further comment on that. But I have to commend this lady for keeping herself the way she was, you know. Let's look again.
Sorry. Just for me. Why are you? He's after being taking pictures of my child. He's after taking a picture of my child. He's after taking a picture of my child. I do it. Who are you taking pictures of? You can't be taking pictures of my child. You make dumb.
So that's from Talbot Street. So that's happening in the inner city. Won't be long before the inner city people start to realise what's been happening to them. You're seeing this fella here. I'll give you a look at this, lads, and just show you, because this is a clown world stuff here. What's the story with that? Really could not be loaded either because, okay, that's fair enough. The TikTok video. Yeah, this fella's talking about Irish involvement in certain trades. Is he hanging around Ireland? What are you doing here? Either you're stupid and you're getting yourself involved in this country that you're talking about this, or you're just grifting on that. And I'd say it's probably the latter more than the former. Here's Fingless. This is a video coming soon as well. Still going to be dropping this video tomorrow. It's from Wednesday night, by the way. This is from Wednesday night. Video coming on it soon. that's the energy I'm talking about, and that's why you're saying the likes of the mainstream news and various other NGOs that are coming out and being like, this is shocking and this is no, absolutely not. I think it's absolutely fantastic to see people standing up and speaking out. And there's a constant curtailing of this. Oh, these people should be out. This is dangerous, not that. No, absolutely not. These people are right to be doing what they're doing. And you keep threatening these people. You keep threatening them in their areas. You keep threatening them with all sorts. You want to talk about fining them and imprisoning them for saying things that you don't like. I think the time is now that people should be doing things like this, where they should be going out again, peacefully protesting and showing that there's a lot of people there that are on side with this, because that's why you see videos like you've seen there from, as I said, the Grey Philip Dwyer with the live stream and the lefties backing down and running away. The same with the likes of Shelbourne as well, when there's only a couple of them hanging around the place and they are outnumbered, because that is a very visceral thing that all of these goofballs are talking about. Because they're very concerned now that more numbers are on the other side than there is on them, because, numbers are important. Numbers are important. And if you have more people on your side that agree with you, the other side then is going to be banished to the shadows, as Gandalf would say from Lord of the Rings. And I think that's exactly what needs to be happening. People need to really wake up, and they have done. I think it's great to see, to what's been pushed out in the media, what's been pushed out into the likes of schools, and what's been pushed out through every allegedly influential head that's around, that everyone's woken up to it. Look, I'll speak candidly with you. There's plenty of celebrities that are out there that I would have really liked and all that, but I turned very quickly on a lot of these people, because I said, well, hang on here, there's a difference between liking the types of movies that they're in, but what they're personally saying themselves is directly affecting you and me. And I am not having that nor am I supporting anymore. And that's how I am. Won't go to certain things, won't go to certain movies. I certainly won't go to see certain programs or anything like that. If I know someone's in it, I'm like, I'm taking a pass on that now, because I am not supporting their work. It's done. I think it's great to see more and more people like that. Gardaí see Gordon meeting with Taoiseach over attacks and falling staff numbers. Should have stood with and talked to the people. The daddy government won't save you. Like, this is the thing they regularly showed you, that they're only interested in using you lot as personal protectors, as paid security, really, essentially, that just can use the likes of public order. That lovely little one that you like to throw out. Oh, it's a public order offence. Shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. This is a video that I did there on Philly the Shilly. Look at this here. Lewis line to be extended to UCD, but the project will take 20 years. Absolutely outrageous stuff, isn't it? Everyone else born evangelical Christians bumping against social norms, comedy or horror story. They don't like Christians at all. Irish Tamal Mahoyas, this is what I was talking about not too long ago. Survivors seek state apology. John is 60 today. That makes the Suckler farm from Tarbert in County Kerry the youngest Tamal Mahoyad survivor in the country. These are all things that they told you were safe. They all told you that this stuff was super duper effective. And look what it did. Seems familiar, doesn't it? Seems very familiar. Cash-strapped RTE has spent $6 million on maintenance works since 2019. Defund RTE. Into the bin with you. Into the bin. Finished. Done. Girl who had all 4 limbs amputated after hospital makes wins 7-figure payout. Do you know how much they gave her? They gave her $39 million. Now listen, there's footballers that their services are purchased for more than that. And this was a serious mistake that was made here. And they said, 39 million. And this is what I'm saying. This isn't anything to these people. And it's the same with the companies over the last couple of years. $1 million, $1 billion, nothing to them. And they will continue to do what they are doing. And this is why they're still permitted to do what they do. Because they just pay out and then the problem goes away. But there's no long-lasting repercussions for them. I mean, as I said to you before, if you haven't seen a program, a TV show, it's called Dope Sick. Have a look at it, because I'm telling you now, that lets you in on everything you need to know. And what I will also say to you is recommend it to as many people as possible if you can, because to me, that is where it looks the best towards as what happened in the last couple of years. Okay, guys, I'm just going to jump into the chat now. Dennis Carney's out there sending 50 super chat. Dennis, thanks very much. Much appreciated for that one. Thank you indeed. We'll jump into the chat now. So obviously, as I say to people, this is the news portion of what I mean, not the news portion. I mean, we all know about that, but the commentary commentary of it. This is where I'm gonna put the stream to an end on that one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump into the chat side of the people in the chat. So I appreciate everybody jumping in here. There's 160 odd people listening to this. Much obliged, much appreciated as well too. And listen, I'll talk to you next week at 7:30 Irish time. Be back here as well, talking about and rounding up what's gone on during the week. And I'll let you know what I think of what they've done by this time next week. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for being in here. Thanks to everybody that's listening live. Thanks to everybody that's listening themselves at whatever point in time that you listen, whether it be tomorrow or the following day, Sunday, or whether it be during the week, or whether you listen to it in different parts. Very much so appreciated. As I always say, thanks to everybody that's been liking, that's sharing, that's subscribing, supporting the channel. I very much so appreciate you guys. I have to say, I wouldn't be here doing what I am without you, and it is becoming more and more clear. Listen, I keep saying to you too, come on to platforms like this. We need more people. We need more people speaking out. Your first videos, your first streams, not going to be great. Mine weren't. I'll admit to that 100%. Mine were absolutely brutal when I listen back to them. Terrible. And after time, you get better and better and better at them. I'm telling you, we need more and more people. And if you're just someone that's just taking a passing interest in it, do it. Come on. Absolutely. 150 odd people here now. I'm sure there's at least 10 people out here that would say, yeah, I'm going to jump onto YouTube. I'm going to make go and do some videos. Go for it. Absolutely. Nothing to lose. Right, guys, so I'm going to just go through the chat here, have a little look-see and see what's happening. Blue Ground one says, not bad for a Gonzo production, pal. Much appreciated. Triple H says, that'd be a great live stream. So obviously referencing what I was talking about earlier on, Dan's mixtapes to be on there on the 31st of January. 7 p.m. I think is the time. I'll clear it up and I'll talk to you then in the video. I'll let you know in the video, all right? George Story says, just watch the video of the woman calling out for Edgar and Newbridge. Let's have a look at that. We only have 8 likes. More people need to hit the likes. Says Triple H at Cord 8. Wonder what the likes are at now. Let's have a look. Just give me a second. I always like doing these things live for the lads. What is it now? Would you believe that I can't see what the thing is? Give me a second. 187 likes. That's not bad. That's not bad. Thanks very much for that. That's outrageous. That's probably the most likes I've gotten on the stream. Very much appreciated. Thanks, guys. Turf Bog Time Machine says Yurt. George Sorty says on Facebook. Does anyone on here use TikTok? I don't use TikTok now. Stoke Living says, can we turn things around? 100% we absolutely can. For sure. Let's have a look now through this. Mark C says, thankless work by Philip and Derek. Oh yeah, Derek I think is not on YouTube for a week. I think he's not able to stream for a week, so just to let people know. Derek, I'm sure will be listening. I'm sure he has other platforms also. I'm not sure if he has Rumble, but if he doesn't, he should get that up and going there. The only thing with Rumble is I think there's like a fee a month. I think it's $10 I think there is to be able to live stream over there. They still haven't. This is where you got to look at all these things and say to yourself, you know, what's the story with them? Because why would Rumble not have people streaming and like for free, because they get way more people over there much quicker and easier. But anyway, you see kind of what's going on with Crowder and the likes of Daily Wire, and you're like, I knew that was going on here. That just confirmed it. Fergus Power says, Ninja Knight, watch your videos during the week. Absolutely great stuff, brother. How's it going, everyone? Hope to see you loads of beautiful Patriots out at Lansdowne tomorrow, 2:30. Fergus does great stuff. Guys, this is a fella that's been relentless. He's incredible. Absolutely incredible to see the energy that he's been shown. Leon Cordes says, Andy Heisman has a great video out there. He's doing great stuff. Wellside says, hey, Ninja, Philip for president. Yeah, this one we've got with Philip for president 100%. Mr. Joe Cool sends in 5999. Thanks very much. Much appreciated, dude. Let's have a look now. King Philip's T-shirts and Nelson's pillar. Let's have a look now. Keep going through that. Derek's in here. Derek McManus in here. So remember to like, share, and subscribe, please, folks. Oh, by the way, big shout out to the mods here. Much appreciated. It's Derek, Leon. Thanks very much for all you do. You're absolutely stalwarts here. Fantastic. Tony says, give the names and the address of the TDs and councils to the fake G's. Let's keep going. Occident Advocate says, watching from England. It's great to see the Irish have some great activists who are helping to awake the Gaels in massive numbers. Great to see the Irish masses starting to resist the forum. Absolutely. Much agreed with you on that one, 100%. Keith Preston says, exactly, they are getting nervous with the riots happening. William Dunner's in here, says Ireland, where the strong, what's that called? Emoji. How says hello, folks. Let's have a look there. He says our country's gone to ruins. Too many NGOs and quizzing politicians. Fully agree on that one. Way too much people in here. Jerome Reddy sends a 2 super sticker. Thanks very much. Let's have a look. Occident Advocate says, Lehan Curtis, yes, enjoyed last week's episode and didn't want to miss this. I'm very excited about events in Ireland. Thanks very much. I've gotten a good few comments there from people that thought last week's one was good. I think there was more pressure on me last week to make it a good one, especially with this week. And I'm seeing the numbers, I'm like, oh my God, there's more than 100 people looking at this Clown World commentary show. Like, I'm like, it needs to be really good. It needs to be good. So I try and limit the errors over the course of the stream to as minimal as possible if I can. Paul Murphy used as people. Yeah. Why didn't he come out? Like, why didn't he come out and talk to Phil Dwyer? And this is what I'm saying to you. This is where you got to point these people out. And again, like the talking ball bags there, say to them, here, hang on, how come you haven't got Philip on? Philip is on Instagram. There's no reason why you shouldn't get to tag him in there. The same way as well, the likes of Twitter. He's on Twitter. He's back on Twitter now. There's no reason why you shouldn't be tweeting them and saying to them, hey, listen, get him on and see where they stand with those type of things. If they tell you straight out, no, we're not going to have him, and we'll know, Too many was in there, wasn't there? Derek McManus says that chat is flying tonight, which is great. Derek McManus says 97 in the chat, please like and share. Let's see there. Let's keep going there. Ram Reedy says, one, stop paying direct provisions to the rich landlords. Two, look after our own. Three, look after the Tories still living at home. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of people out there, and I say it then in the video that is coming out, that's talking about, like, say, people that are compelled to buy houses together. People, I know people that have very seriously and nearly bought property together, and the relationship was never a relationship that was ever going to be a long-term one. And that's how struggling and how difficult it is, how much of a struggle, I'm going to take that back to her, how much of a struggle and how difficult it is for people to secure property that they think being in a relationship with someone that they shouldn't be with for the foreseeable is the way to do it. It's not. That's completely wrong. Meanwhile, I talk to people that are older than I am, and they're like, sure, I bought my own house there, and I was out to live my life. And you're like, yeah, you know what I mean? That's not the luxury that a lot of people have now. And, again, they use this intergenerational thing to set people against each other. Well, our generation had it hard. I'm not saying you didn't. All I'm saying is that people had the ability to buy a home on their own then. Now they don't. Now you need to have someone else. And it's becoming very difficult for people. And listen, if you were out there, certainly if I was out there, if I was out there dating, and you're looking at people putting up their status and stuff like that, and in the likes of dating profiles, that's a quick no. But also then, how many of them now are going to start turning around and tell you, no, I didn't have any sort of involvement in that, and they might. With everything that's coming out, to me, like, I'd have my head wrecked. You know what I mean? At least in this chat, you know that the people that are here are sounds a pound. John Murphy says, hello, Ninja, you're doing a great job. Best wishes from Wexford. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. Some guy accurately states as well, this plantation is happening all over Europe, not just here. The people are getting annoyed, and the Irish are encouraging them. Great show. There's definitely a plantation occurring here, and Oliver Cromwell involved himself in one here in Ireland years ago, and now this is just the second plantation. However, this plantation is more obvious, and it's happening in front of people, and people can spot the difference at this stage, where beforehand it was a little bit more difficult. Now it's really clear. Errol Cannon says, Ninja Knight, well, dude, what's happening, bro? Good to see you here. No problem as well. Nick O'Keefe says, Ninja's Kenna, man does longer streams than Joe Rogan. Trying to cut them down to about 2 hours nowadays, but the fact that I was late tonight, I'm like, oh, go on a little bit more. That's a lot there. Jerome Reedy says we have a census that shows people living at home with their parents that can never buy a home. 100%. And I mean, if you're in a job that's obviously you're going from paycheck to paycheck, and the banks, I've heard people before, right? And this is the worst part about it, that they went to a bank, they were looking for a mortgage, were laughed out of the bank because the bank basically said that their job wouldn't be tenable. They're like, that'll be gone now in the next few years, or that's something that you wouldn't be able to afford a mortgage for. That's why it's the own nothing carry on there. You can rent there, but sure, the rent is going to sap all of my wages away. Well, if the option of renting or nothing there, you can stay at home. That's the people, the way they're going on about these things. Meanwhile, then you're seeing Kalechi and the gang getting the gaff, and if they cause a bit of disturbance in that gaff, they just moved on to another one. It's absolutely ridiculous stuff. Stegosaurus says, thanks, Ninja. Absolutely 100%. Keep going. Imelda Tobin says, an Enoch being fined €700 a day for going to school. That'll probably hold up like the fines over the last 2 years. Won't be paid, and if he makes an appeal, won't pay it, and then we'll just they can keep amounting it to whatever, and then if it goes higher, then someone has to have some shred of common sense and say, okay, that's enough. The fact that it was listened to, and the fact that there's such a media presence still around it, you've got to look at it and say to yourself, what's the end game here? The end game obviously is to make that sort of stuff okay, as to what happened there. And that's why you're seeing sort of in weeks since then, you're seeing Mary Lou say what she's saying, like using a family member for political gain as a political chip, really, I mean, if that's the oldest doing whatever he's doing, once he's doing it behind closed doors and he's not getting involved or anything like that, that's grand, up to himself. But you're using then his own stuff there to further yourself. I mean, I'm telling you, I've looked people that are massive Sinn Féiners in the eyes and told them about that over the last week, and they're just looking and they're like, and I was like, what do you think about that? And they're looking, going, I don't know. Sure, the world's mad. Derek Man says, congratulations on 4K and tonight, well deserved. Thank you, much appreciated. You've passed 4K and subs because the content is excellent. Frank C says, thanks very much so appreciate it. Circuit South, great to see, fantastic content. Alex is fourth time here, heard of this through Philip D. Thanks very much. Philip is great. Philip has been shouting out the channel for a very long time, and that's very much so appreciated. Been one of the real ones, he's been here since the start. Fifth Warriors after grabbing some load of new subs. His view over the past weeks too, unreal. Yeah, and you're seeing him starting to be referenced as well too on Alex's stuff as well. Gonzo show gets more interactions than RT. Vaughn Malone says Derek Lloyd been cancelled. I think he's just off now for a week. Nola Hart says Ninja, come join our Twitter spaces when you return. Yeah, sure. Part of a one-on-one force is 10. Says Ireland for the Irish, not the world. August, it's Madra. Jan Court says, be careful, Ninja, not using the donkey word. Listen, I love donkeys. Love them. Mick O'Keefe says, Brody gave me back my account. I've had 200 accounts. Do you know what? I wouldn't mind, but I was actually considering, I was like, do you know what? It'd be nice now if I was able to just promote just one other place just for the crack. And next of all, I'm reinstated. And like, tell you what, that's not a sign. Lovely. Laura Tots, the phones have been buzzing and people obviously following the profile. Laura Tots says, hi everyone, good to see you here. Laura Tots in Canada, great to see the Canadians standing up as well too, to Justin over there. Awesome. Kevin Dotton says, Ninja Night, you, Dan's Mixtape, James Collins, Mike Connell, Derek Bloyd, Dave Cullen, Gripped, Phil Dwyer, Grant Torino, and more, 8 the media, the real media, and no forced license. This is what panics them, because when they see people that are willing to do what we're doing here, and I'm speaking as I am, and there's nobody telling me what to say or do, this is why, you'll get offhand shooting from the hip type stuff from me. And I'll obviously say what I think about anybody and everybody, I'm probably well known for that now at this stage, and I think when other people see these finely polished, organizations that are out there that are not giving the real people a voice, that's when people turn and say, oh no, hang on, I'd rather listen to what these guys are saying. And everyone you named out there now, I don't really know much about James Collins, if I'm being quite honest with you, but everyone else that you've named out there, like, I'm like, well, I started looking at their content and I was like, no, they're on the ball there, they know what's going on, and I think it's great. I think great that's more and more people, and I would love to see more people join YouTube and be here too, because that's how you overturn this. It's great having 10 of us, or 15 of us, but if there's 50 of us or 100 of us, and I mean, again, there might be someone that might come along and they're better at doing what I'm doing than I am, and that's fine. That's okay. Like, I see the views that other guys get, and I'm delighted for them. Like, I'm delighted with the views that Philip's getting. I'm delighted with the views that Derek is getting, and Satirical Soldier, and Dave Cullen, and Gripped, and all that. Grant Torino as well too. Irish Inquiry as well too. Big shout out to them. I'm delighted for them. Absolutely delighted for them. And Dan's Mixtape obviously as well. Delighted for all of them, because the more and more people that are out there, the better. The absolute better it is. And, I think that's where there's been a real turn in the corner, where there's been a lot of people that have had themselves divided and have been happy with divisions and stuff like that, whereas people are uniting more now, and they're like, no, hang on here, this is what we're all for now, and we're looking and we seeing what's going on. I think it's great. I think it's beautiful to see, really do. Let's keep going. Blue Ground once is back in 7 days, you'll be gone again in 3. Listen, I am going to be playing it very well over there. I'm guaranteeing you that. I couldn't even believe it though. I was going over that whole thing. Like, I was like, there's no way, because I've said probably worse than that. It wasn't removed. That's great. Keep going there. See now as well. People chatting in the chat amongst each other. I love that. I love in the chat talk to each other, you know. I think that's very important. Brandon Ross says my TV identifies as a microwave. Point Man's in here. This fella sends me all the memes. Great fella for the memes. Absolutely brilliant. Always here and great supporter of the channel, you know. Absolutely brilliant. And as is everybody that's in the chat. Just I can't thank you enough. How are we all doing, folks? Some loss for the left this week. Derek Mann says Ninja United stream is going great. Chat flying. Appreciate on that one. Russian is in here as well too. Never signed up for Twitter or Facebook. Wexford. Good to see you here. Derek McMahon says, remember, folks, every time Ninja Knight says allegedly, speculatively, you have to take a drink. I think that's going to be an hour game. Derek McMahon says, do the voices, Ninja. All the voices when I do. Derek McMahon says, do Optimus Prime, Ninja Knight. I absolutely cannot do Optimus Prime. I would be awful at doing that. There's a couple of guys that are out there, though, that can do Optimus Prime quite well. You know? Erden says, seeing a woman in KFC last week with a mask around her chin and a huge bucket of chicken, gravy dripping onto her mask. Chin was safe. Oh, stop. I'd be out and I'd be like, I'd be out and I'd just be laughing. And some of the people that would be with me, they'd be like, oh, just stop. And I'm like, no, I'm making it clear here. Look at this person. It's ridiculous. I was like, do you not feel ashamed? Anyway, that's my view on the whole situation. And see, the thing is, some other people will be like, I'll just leave them be. No, they didn't leave me be now for the best part of 2 years, you know. So I think it's good. Ground one says, when Philip asked a couple of lads wearing the masks, will they go for the corners? Their heads drooped. Tells you all you need to know. Well, that was very powerful stuff from Philip. Very powerful. Stephen says, Ninja Knight, you should check out the rant by Michael Reid on LMFM today before 11 a.m. Have a look there. 143 watching live. I think that's a record. Like, share, and subscribe, please. Folks, says Derek Mans. Much appreciated. Blue Wire says Twitter just banned Indians from doing something with their government. Law, free speech, Twitter. As I said, and Blue Wise, you're right there. This is why I'm keeping up the likes of Gab, and I'm very much so advocating for it, because Gab is much better than any other platform that's out there. And as I said, shenanigans can occur on these platforms. They've showed you that. They're still telling you that they want you to apply and be involved in their rules. They're still playing their game. Whereas in Gab, you're not playing their game. You're doing your own thing, which I love. And I keep advocating for it. Let's have a look. McCann says local jobs and housing for local people. I agree with you on that one. Keep going here. Kenneth Killeen says, well, Sheik and McCann did deported. Must look into that one. They said they were going to. But, you know, they say things an awful lot and they tell lies an awful lot. Whitey Marsh says, hard to see how this is all going to pan out. It is hard to see how it's going to pan out. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball here now at the moment. And, you know, I think what's happening now is there's a mass. No, I don't think what's happening. No, turning into me whole Martin there. No, I think what's going on now is that people are starting to realize that the narratives are broken, and what happens is, particularly with people with kids, this is why the left are obsessed with kids, by the way. And when kids are appearing at protests, they're like, "Oh my God, they're putting them at protest," because they know it's a mind they can't control going forward. And the more that they see kids on our side of the fence, and that they have good parents that are showing them and telling them what's going on, this is more of a control factor being lost by them. And that's why they get super duper upset. And that's why they're flinging around things like, oh, Tesla should be investigating. These people shouldn't be allowed to be parents. A lot of these people are childless themselves. And that's not to be at anybody that's here listening to this that's genuinely on this cause and doesn't have a child themselves. I'm just saying that these people seem to have an overwhelming thought, and in their view have a complete and utter right to talk to your kids about what they should be thinking and doing when it comes to all these things, and they're flat out wrong when it comes to these things. As I said earlier on, you're seeing an article there from an Irish teacher telling you that the state is basically supposed to be more important than your parents. That is completely and utterly wrong. As I've said before, and I say it every single time, I'm very fortunate to have two excellent parents, and I'm accrediting an awful lot of what happens with me, and in particular with how I carry myself and how I think to my parents. Do you have different views with your parents now and again? For sure. You're not always going to see things the same way. And that's life and that's how things are. But if you have a good foundation, that's where things come from. And a lot of these people that you see on the other side don't have a good foundation, are unstable, have parents that are unstable, have an unstable relationship, and then obviously then are being parented and coerced isn't the right word, that are being shoved into a way of like everyone is fine and no, you're not awake to what's going on in the world and you've been led down a bad path, and then your entertainment is supplementing that narrative. It's supplementing that idea that this is what things should be, and you're like, no, it doesn't work like that at all. It's not real at all, you know. And to me, that's why entertainment has been called out for the last few years. But in terms of panning out, what is happening is this side is growing and the other side is slowing down, and it's definitely weakening and it's losing numbers hand over fist. That's absolutely happening. So I can see Ireland's becoming more conservative for sure, but as has been previously pointed out, and it is a fact, and this is the thing, they have gotten so many people into this place now and then have given them the likes of citizenship through this paper Irish stuff that is incredibly difficult then to move them out. That's the hard part. You know what I mean? So it is for sure going to be difficult going forward. But it is always tough before it gets easier. Let's have a look now through here. Chat. A lot of people aren't fans of Tommy Tiernan. Vaughan Malone's a student, 60% are Brazilians. Actually heard that from Brazilian friend of mine recently. They're talking about the Enoch thing. They're like, oh, you found out. And they were like, yeah, that sort of stuff wouldn't have happened in the likes of Brazil. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's great to see that you're on the same wavelength there. Or they were saying under Bolsonaro, but they said currently now. No, they're looking at the dude that's there. They're like, nah. I said, well, that's interesting, I said, it's interesting that you are here and you're fans of Bolsonaro, but you're here. And what's the story with that? They're looking at you going, I like taking a mic. These people can take a joke, by the way. Anyway, Big A says, evening on. Yeah, end of the line, Joel says about agitators and interlopers to cause trouble. Anybody that's walking around with a face not beyond them, be aware of them real quick. Very much so. And anyone that's floating around on anything that's supposed to be not done and is doing things that are out there, make sure you mark that out and you move away from that person as soon as possible and let others know, hey, that person's up to stuff, because nothing's beyond these gang anymore and this gang anymore. And you got to realize that now. And I think a lot of people out there, some people out there are certainly naive at that fact that there's loads of messing going on, and there is to be loads of messing going on. And they are going to try and disturb movements and trying to link people in with other things. And you're going, well, sure, everything that you accuse people of is usually something you're guilty of yourself anyway from that side. So pay no heed to them, but do pay heed to who's around and see what they're at and up to. Seen a lot of that. I'm seeing some people as well talking about protesting at the airport. Seen a lot of that. A lot of people are talking about that now in very real terms. Raymond Paul says Ninja 700 Gardaí have resigned or retired, and 90% of applicants are rejected. They are falling apart and the public have lost confidence. Yeah, big time. DJ Baker says, I know a Garda who joined a few years ago. He used to put up mirror selfies in the uniform and says you're getting it now. Probably thought it was a soft job. Look here. And I mean, you look at those people that are in those jobs now, they're telling you that they're not fit enough. They're telling you that they're resigning, the morale's low. So what's handy for them? Look at people and annoy people that are talking about the truth online, or go in and deal with what you see in City West. What do you think they're going to do in this soft world that we live in now? Let's Carla O'Connor's in here. It's obviously said hello. See you here. Let's have a look through the chat. Keep happening there. It always takes a little while for it to just catch up with there. I'm still only at 8:30. Holy moly. I had to get through this quicker. Ferry Flowers in here says, Ninja Knight, something you were talking about tonight. I just want to update you on before you make a video, brother. Phil or Mike have my number if you want to grab it. Okay, 2:30 Lansdowne tomorrow. Okay, something's going on Lansdowne Road tomorrow at 2:30. Let's see what's going on there. Carla O'Connor, a new member. Oh, how you doing, Carla? Thanks very much. Much appreciated. Boyd Barrett's stepfather could accommodate a busload of spearwoods in his castle. Am I right? I think I looked that up a little while ago. Am I right in saying, I'm going to do this live now, I'm pretty sure that Richard Boyd Barrett's stepfather is Jeremy Irons. Just let me have a look at this now for a second. Just give me a moment, guys. This is what you get with a live show. I'm going to do it here now and have a look. Jeremy Irons. Yeah, it's Richard Boyd Barrett. He's Richard Boyd Barrett's stepfather. Did you know that? Like, that's insane. I actually not too long ago I looked that up. I did, because I had to look at Boyd Barrett after he was making mental statements. He was, and then allegedly, spectively, what's her name? Sinead Cusack is the mother's name. Now, isn't that interesting? She's an Irish actress, and her first acting roles were at the Abbey Theatre, and she is the mother of Richard Boyd Barrett. So she had Richard Boyd Barrett, she did, and let's just have a look now, early life there. She was born in Dalkey. She's the daughter of another actress, Maureen, and another actor, Cyril. So Richard Boyd Barrett essentially comes from a family of actors. So again, up there, spoofing out of him. Her father was born in South Africa to an Irish father and English mother, and had worked with Micheál Mac Limor at Dublin's Gate Theatre. Let's have a look now. She married British actor Jeremy Irons in 1978. Prior to marrying Irons, Cusack gave birth to a son in 1967 and placed the boy for adoption. So that lets you know kind of what Richard Boyd Barrett, what's going on with him. It's mad, isn't it? So there you go, Jeremy Irons, Hans Gruber's brother in the Die Hard movies, the voice of Scar, the man who played Alfred in Batman v Superman, the stepfather of Richard Boyd Barrett. Weird, isn't it? Weird, the connections. Let's keep going on there now. Art Joseph says very suspect ninja. Let's have a look now. TJ Baker says, I'm blonde with a ginger's beard. Walked through Dublin last month during the day and people were kind of looking at me funny like it was out of place. Nail on the head there, man. Nail on the head. A lot of people want to mention the name Sinn Féin. Boom, they're out. They're like, oh, it's great. But see, this is why people are turning on them, because they see what's happening and they see that they're not stepping up for us. And that's why you're seeing some of the lefties go and say, oh my God, I can't believe people are going after Sinn Féin when it's Fianna Fáil. And go, yeah, no, I agree. But in the same token, you've got to see it for what it is. They are seeing that there's not enough done for the people. And they're seeing it coming from the likes of them. You know what I mean? Like, they're starting to see an opposition supposed to be there to oppose things. And when they see people that are not doing that, they're like, no problem. Let's have a look here now, try to chat. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, Richard McCabe says, Ninja Knight, there's a big difference between Catholic Christians and Protestant Christians. The latter is more akin to the small hats. Yeah, I see what you're saying there on that one. You're saying on that one. You know what? It'd be great if they had it on this. This is the StreamYard thing that you're on. If they had it highlighted where it was, where the ads were, because it'd make my job so much easier to be able to just scroll through. Because the chat between people is brilliant. I love that here, that people talk to each other, and that's what is a big problem. That's why I like Twitter, even at the moment that it's in, people talking to each other is an issue for them. Derek Manson Ninja Knight said, allegedly speculated again, take a drink, please, folks. It's keeping count. I think last stream he was just like, that was 21 speculatively, allegedly. What count am I on today, Derek? End of the line, Joe. It says, never trust a media organisation that locks their comment section. Yeah, same here. Oh, you always leave the comment section open. And you'll always notice, by the way, and anybody that's been following the channel for a while, they'll know that usually if you get a humdinger of a comment, I usually pin it. And I do. It can sometimes be the most negative comments that you'll ever get, and I'm like pinned. And you'll see them people just comment at them, and this person will never come back. Then they're like, all right, that's enough of that then, because a lot of them think that you're just going to take the comment and then speak to them. Then or I'm like, nah, pin it. Have a look now. You're having a good time in the chat. It's great to see. Brilliant to see so many people there. Let's have a look now through the chats. Segways. The people are talking about segways here in the chat and Gardays. They're not taking them seriously on the bikes. Because you imagine them. Loads of them there are unfit. Fantastic. And now what's happening? They're cycling up and down the road. Ninja Knight, Humans 8 says, Ninja Knight be shining a searchlight into the sky. Eamon Ryan will come on his bicycle. Yeah, I saw that Richard McKevett. I think Salty did a video on this as well. As Fargo in the USA have announced that they are only giving mortgages to non-whites from now on. Purism. Yep. And they're doing it openly. And I mean, this is what you're seeing them replacing actors and replacing characters with people. And it's just flagrantly done and flippantly done by them. And that's the idea. And you're seeing the way that they're talking about white people in media, constant, you know. Nothing wrong with vintage toys. Ninja Knight says, Therapy Madness. Yep. Says Elon sacked 70%, 75% of the staff from Twitter. Nice. It's great to see. It's only gotten better from what I've seen. I know I'd be able to involve myself in getting voting for the polls that he put up, which I'm very happy about. Like I said, you know yourself, Gab and that and Gettr, been much better to me. Gab in particular, been very good. Let's keep going through the chat now and see what's happening here. I wonder if we get free gaffs in Nigeria for the Irish. Who said that? TDRP. Brilliant. Nigeria is not a big fan of Christians, from what I understand. I'll have a look into that there, guys, and see what you think. I did a video not too long ago about it. I think it might be on Rumble. I'm really sure it is. If it's not there, it's on Odysee. There's a while ago there, I had a channel, and the channel was all messed up, and I was like, oh. And then ended up making mistakes here and there, like in terms of like the videos that were there. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even concerned about it. I'm going to put it up on Rumble and make sure they're on Rumble, they're on Odysee. Happy days. Let's have a look through this. So much chatting between people here that I'm like, I try to see where the Ninja Knight is. But yeah, we've got a couple of people in there and asked me about Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime's a legend, you know. I had someone on a video recently, actually, speaking of, that was like, the people in Transformers wouldn't be happy with you talking about the Day-Dem stuff. And I was like, have you met anybody that's been involved in the 1980s cartoon? They absolutely do not agree with you. Fact. And they're like, oh, but they don't say that. Yeah, because you know what you people are like. You hound them and harangue them. That's why they don't say it. Like I seen Frank Welker there, for example. He's voicing, was it the father of Fred there in the not the Scooby-Doo, Velma TV show. I was like, what's Frank Welker doing in there? And I was like, payday, like, isn't it really? But I mean, he ain't coming out and promoting that show. You know? I like talking about stuff like that. And I know it's superfluous, but look, sometimes I gotta talk about it. Colin Noel sends too and has emojis there and then the thumbs up. Nice one. Let's have a look. Sure. Hoke says, cheers for speaking about it Ninja Knight. I much appreciate it. Speak about it and that I find to be interesting, to be honest with you. That's why the wildness, you see videos coming out and you're like, this fella's talking about Power Rangers, what's he at? And then you'll see me then talking about, just Philly to chilly out with something else again. I hope Philly keeps coming out with stuff. Like, the videos have been doing really well, you know? I'm like, the more you talk, and that's why I used the Kevin McAllister comment, you know, you guys had enough? Are you thirsty for more? I hope you're thirsty for more, because I'll happily oblige, no problem at all. No issue. You know? A couple of people sending me another fella today on Instagram. I was like, who is he? And they said like he was putting out some post. Oh, we're anti this and anti that. It's like, how many likes did he get? 3. How many followers did he got? 10,000. Yeah, makes sense. Always makes sense. You know. Have a look now. Did I show you on that thing there as well? That Jennifer one. I didn't. I'll be down in the video anyway. Woman Jennifer's just like was talking going back on your woman. She just irked me and was like, the books don't have no rights of homeschooling them. Yeah, 7 PhDs out of 10 is not bad. That's not a bad number. And also then as well, this was a person that freaked out when Elon Musk bought Twitter and was like, I'm deleting my profile. So much for free speech, well, you know. Dennis Carney's in here since 15. Much appreciated, Dennis. Good to see you here. A lot of people are asking about you last week, actually, as a matter of fact. Particularly Anne. She was like, how's everything going? How's the man? Hope all is well. Tony Introverts says, come on. Let's keep going here. Sometimes I get sent stuff during the stream by the point man, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then I'll say it, and I'm like, should have talked about that in the stream. And then I'm like, oh, listen, I'll get to it next week. Or if it's something else, I'll get on it real quick. Keep going now through the chat there. Yeah, a lot of people talking about Malcolm Hyde as well too. It's just very good to see people now talking about that. That to me, like, I was talking to people that were in the era of that stuff happening, and I said, you don't think that they tell lies again, would you? And they're like, no. I was like, so you've been conned not once but twice, willingly. Yikes. Mad. I think it's mad. Armchair Limerick Nationalist says, thank you, Ninja Knight. Derek Man says, like, share, and subscribe, please, folks. Blue Sky says, cheers, Ninja. Enderline Giles says, Odysee. I'm over on Odysee as well, too, yeah, 100%. Occident Advocate says, this is a brilliant stream, Ninja. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Mark J says, thank you very much. Great content. Odysee Boy 2 says, Arch Joseph. Ballymun, Tony Introvert with a fist up. Good to see it. MHK says, take care, my Irish brothers. I'm 1 hour ahead of you. See you here. It's great to see the subs in the channel are going up. It's fantastic, yeah. It's fantastic. Derek Man says, I've been known to do the out live stream. Let us know when you're on them, by the way. Let's go on to production on YouTube, says Alan G. Thank you very much. Sancton Scottish says, great work, Ninja. Be well, folks. Another great channel there, by the way. 189 likes there now. Fantastic. That's great. Good to see you. Cheap Dog says, thanks again, Ninja. Always great. Might see the channel ground. Much appreciated. Very much appreciated on that one. Keep going. And of course, there's no reason, Ninja. My absolute pleasure to be here. Very much so appreciated. Very much so appreciated. Blue Ground One says, so my dear brothers and sisters, be strong and immovable. Always work enthusiastically for the Lord, for you know that nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. 1 Corinthians 15:53. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Air Force managed to catch the tail end. Big love to all and grow. Ninja grow. Thank you. Much appreciated. Young leaders help happening in Belfast soon, says Bjorn Slippy. We keep an eye on that one, we will. Jason Red says, Sense Trace says, I'm really sorry so little. Listen, never say sorry to me. Actually, never say sorry to me at all. Listen, any support that this channel gets is very much so appreciated. And I mean that even with comments, just even comments in the chat. That's support to me. And follow me on social media is support as well. Like it's very appreciated. You know what I mean? And never apologize. You know, I'm humbled to be here. And you people, you great people are out there listening into this and are sharing the word are appreciated. Very appreciated. Greg Power says, Ninja, great job, brother. Keep it up. Hope we get a big turnout tomorrow. 2:30 Lansdowne Station, i.e. the Giles are rising and it's glorious. God bless you and yours, okay? Ireland's hearts. Good to see you there. Fantastic. And again, very interesting stuff. I'm hoping, Ferg, you should start up and do videos, I'm sure, very soon, you know. More people, the best situation we're going to end up with, essentially. Nathan Scott says, Paul Murphy, privately educated. Very, very much so. And I think that was funny with Philip as well, too. Hey, guys, you know, he's privately educated. People just looking at him, they're like, That's great. Blue Graham One says, it's great seeing new people in the chat here and Philip's live streams. We've come through so much over the past 2 years and we have so much more to face. We will march on together 100%. Totally agree with you on that. Let's have a look through the few comments. I'm trying to catch up. I'm about 40 minutes, I think, behind. Trying out the mouth. Nib says, do you still read the chat? With great difficulty. Tonight there, Nibs. I think I'm 30 minutes behind. Oh, nuts. Derek Man says, Nibs, Ninja Knight reads the chat at the end of the show and over 100 folks are commenting. Gets hard to mention everyone. Yeah, it's super difficult. I'm not going to lie to you on that one. It's very difficult. very, very difficult when we get there. Once we got past the number of 15, I'll be honest with you, I was like, oh, it's so so hard to keep up and go back and forth. Alan G says, Ninja, it would make my day if you did your Radgar impression before knocking off. Can you imagine that Mario Rosenstock does that impression as well? And he was doing it there during the week talking about Pascal Donahue. And Pascal was up in the dial saying he didn't remember certain things that Pascal had done. And you're looking at him going, oh my God, like the fact that people take this guy off lets you know everything you need to know. And then you've the other fella sitting beside and being like, listen now, Pascal. Pascal knows that he's after coming across from some sort of comedy act, I thought in the doll anyway. Sometimes it's a comedy act. I think it's actually very, very unusual that Sinn Féin would be correcting and talking about Pascal. Wasn't it Mary Lou? And he was like, Mary Lou got a €1,000 donation from the convicted criminal Jonathan Dowdall. As if that's some sort of mic drop. That's how you know Sinn Féin are no use, because the rebuttal to that was, well, how much? What about Klaus? How much is he giving you? What story of that? What about the forum? They're saying you're a young leader. You see, that's what real opposition would do. And the fact that Sinn Féin didn't do that, and Mary Lou sat there with poor slips, this is what you need to say. I would love to see, say, someone that's a body language expert do, like, say, the doll. And particularly Mary Lou in that situation, because the head was down, the lips were pursed. I was like, says a lot to me. But anyway, the whole Jonathan Dowdall thing as well too has been a massive, massive cluster for Sinn Féin. It's not been good. Sheepdog says, never forget the chat here one night, Ninja Night. Says we're only nearly all related at the end of the stream. Great chat. Great chat. Let's have a look here now. Shane Brady's right there. So guys will just make arrests if the ports and airports are blocked. They would. Yeah, 100%. And you know, you like donkeys? Sponsor 2 donkey sanctuaries in Cork and Donegal, says Jason Irish Red. I do like donkeys. Let's have a look now. They're talking about Skeletor. TDRP, T-Man and Skeletor. They were the days. And Jason the Wales Warriors. Love it. Let's keep going. This chat is absolutely brilliant. It is, I have to say. I love it. Love to see so many people are in here and very strongly opinionated. Still about 20 minutes behind the chat. I'm like, come on, get yourself through there, Ninja. Come on. Oh, stop. They're all texting in there, allegedly, speculatively in the chat. Guys, you're taking no comments. Keep going. Going through this now real quick. I know people to be looking at going, oh my God, it's taking ages. Dark Man says, Ninja Night, that one you put you at 22, allegedly, speculatively. That's 23 now. That's 23. 23. Imagine if there was someone that actually went through the stream and was listening now for all those allegedly speculatively. Imagine if someone did, like, say, like a synthwave thing or something like that, where speculatively. Stop. You know the comments, you know the channel is taken off when the comments on the chat take as long as the actual show. Yeah, it's gonna get that way, and that's gonna be a difficult one for sure. That's why this problem of the Atten business, like it was a good idea in the beginning, but my God, it's very difficult to get through at this stage. I can see why Salty doesn't get through the normal chat at all. Therefore, says, Ninja, you're telling the truth. That's the way the world should be, and also why we're here. Much appreciated. Absolutely agree with you on that one. In the chat, see what's happening there. Alan G says you crack me up. We like to have a good time. Times are important. Alan G says thanks, Ninja, and good night to you all. Good people here. And my milk bottles. Let's keep going in the chat. Poor Ninja Night is under pressure now. Listen, I was under severe pressure. I'm about a minute away now, so I'm not doing too bad. I'm all right. Okay. Nice. Okay, I got to the end of the chat. Finally got there. 3 hours clocked on. It's nearly as listen, when you go as long as a Lord of the Rings movie or the new Avatar movie, the new Avatar movie is good, by the way. We'll say that it puts a good message in there for fathers for sure, and mothers, of course, as well. I think it's really good. James Cameron has said a couple of weird things in the media. I think it's just to appease Disney for sure. I don't think James Cameron actually thinks that way. And I think he's just said a couple of things in the media just to kind of keep Disney off his back. But it's a very solid movie, I have to say. I really enjoyed it. A lot of little messages in there as well, too, that you can definitely hone in on for sure and find interesting, I think. Blue Graham one is talking about Big Mike. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Derek Man says Ninja Night is along in now 3 hours. I'm getting out here. I'm getting out at the 3 hour mark. All right, guys. So, listen, I'm going to be dropping videos again over the next few days, and I'll be back, as I said, 7:30 next Friday, Irish time. And I'll see you then. Look after yourselves. Talk to you later. God bless and love to you.